year, the Muskogee Roughers were 3-0 going into district play. Tonight, a totally different thing, as you would expect in the year 2020 with the year of the COVID virus, as the Roughers come into their district opener tonight against the Sand Springs Sandites and sport a record of 0-3. So they'll be looking to get back on the winning track, but we'll see what happens. I'm Nick Hampton in for Bill Huddleston this evening, joined by the younger Huddleston, Brad. And, you know, one thing Coach has always said about the start of district play, Brad, is that whether you're 3-0 or you're 0-3 going in, it doesn't really matter because these are the games now that matter and will count on the record.
Definitely. The first three games have been rough for the Roughers, as you could argue that the entire year of 2020 has been for all of us. But we've got some bright spots. You've had 3 weeks to get some kids some reps that may not have gotten some reps. You've had 2 weeks of, if you talk to Coach Watson, it's been one of the two best weeks of practice they've had all season long, and 2 weeks to game plan for this game. And so it's going to be exciting to see what happens.
Okay, so we'll find out and talk a little more about the Sand Springs Sandites as we go along here. First of all, we'll meet one of the Roughers tonight and a guy who will be tasked with stopping yet another talented quarterback on this Sand Springs team. We're going to talk and meet defensive end Devin Whitfield when we return on our pregame show from Sandite Stadium in Sand Springs. Nick Hampton and Brad Huddleston, we'll be back after this 60-second timeout. You're watching Rougher TV.
In times of need, it's comforting to see faces of people you know and trust. Cornerstone Funeral Home in Muskogee cherishes the opportunity to be there for you and your family in life's most challenging times when friends are most important. Cornerstone Funeral Home and Crematory welcomes the opportunity to answer any questions regarding planning and pre-arrangements for you and your loved ones. Experience the difference. Cornerstone Funeral Home, 1830 North York in Muskogee, where you'll find faces you know and reputations you trust.
New Silverados up to $15,000 in total savings. Hi, Jay Hodge, and it really is the best time to buy at the all-new Jay Hodge Chevrolet Muskogee. Tell them, Rick.
Summer sale down of all new 2020s.
New Silverados up to $15,000 total savings.
Don't overpay, come see 15KJ.
New Silverados up to $15,000 total savings at the all-new Jay Hodge Chevrolet of Muskogee.
144 West Shawnee.
Okay, this is Devin Whitfield, player profile, coming up in 3, 2, 1. Good evening and welcome to Rougher Football this evening from Sand Springs, and it's time to meet one of the Rougher players. Tonight we're going to talk with a guy on the defensive front that has really come along, according to coaches, in the last couple of weeks, Devin Whitfield, who plays the defensive end. Talk a little bit about how things have progressed for you so far this year, kind of what it's been like for you.
Well, it's been tough from the start, but as I started listening to the coaches, I got better, practicing harder, and I think I could do good this game.
Is there kind of a point where maybe the light came on and said, oh, yeah, that's what they've been talking about?
Yes, it was like after the last game, after that tough loss, I woke up and I decided to buy into what they've been telling me.
Tonight you guys will face another quarterback that is kind of a dual threat like we've seen all season long. What kind of lessons have you learned from these other three guys that we've seen that maybe you can apply tonight, do you think?
You just don't let the pocket open up wide enough for them to get a lane to take off, and we should be okay.
That's really kind of the thing about these last three guys is that we've been so focused on getting pressure that they're good runners. They shake loose and get to the outside.
Yeah, it's been tough.
What's your favorite school subject?
I like chemistry, science, basically. I like doing experiments.
Oh, cool. Do you have a favorite teacher?
Yeah, I do. I like Miss Chappie.
Okay. Do you have any kind of game day eccentricities or quirks that you follow? Anything you eat special or do?
No, I just take my little game day prayer, make sure everything goes right. Before I walk on the field, I do my little point to God.
All right.
Simple.
Cool. All right. Well, we wish you guys the best of luck tonight on the defense. Keep that end enclosed. Don't let the guy get outside tonight. And we'll wish you the best of luck. Thanks for being with us.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Devin Whitfield, junior defensive end for the Roughers on our player profile. We'll be back with more and talk with Coach Rafe Watkins when we return after this 60-second break. You're listening and watching Rougher TV.
Last escort, Mr. Damon Cisco. Damon is the son of Jelani Cisco and Kamiko Morgan, who's been a member of the varsity football team for 2 years. Ms. Corey Evans, Ian Britt, and Jamon Cisco. Our next homecoming queen candidate, Maddie Dorsey. Maddie is the daughter of Carla Dorsey and the late Gerald Dorsey. Maddie has been a varsity cheerleader for 3 years. Her first escort is Mr. Noah Gord. Noah is the son of Richard and Kelly Gord. Noah has been a member of the varsity football team for 3 years. Maddie's next escort is Mr. Micah Calico. Mike is the son of Bobby and Casey Duck. He has been a member of the varsity football team for 3 years. Maddie's final escort, Mr. Ty Atkinson. Ty is the son of Catherine Atkinson, and he has been a member of the Sandike varsity football team for 2 years. Miss Maddie Dorsey, Noah Gord, Micah Calico, and Ty Atkinson.
When you come home after a long day, Bravado Wireless Home Internet has you covered in your neighborhood or on your farm. For a limited time, our unlimited home internet has been discounted to only $49 per month with the purchase of a $99 router. And get this, the first 3 months of service is on us. So what are you waiting for? Make the switch today and visit us at bravadowireless.com for more info and to find a store near you. We are Bravado Wireless, and we believe in the power of connection.
Pioneer Abstract, proudly serving residential and commercial customers throughout Muskogee County since 1905, serving banks, mortgage companies, and mortgage brokers with refinancing, purchase, 1031 tax-deferred exchanges, along with full escrow services and more. Pioneer Abstract offers the convenience of centralized services for escrow accounts, title insurance, and title searches. Pioneer Abstract, here yesterday, here today, and here tomorrow at 412 West Broadway in downtown Muskogee, or call Pioneer Abstract at 683-2904.
Good evening and welcome to Sand Springs for Rougher football tonight as the Roughers take on Sand Springs in the belated district opener for the Roughers. I almost feel like as we start this, we should have an announcer that says previously on COVID football 2020 or something like that because so much has gone on. Let's talk a little bit about what has transpired since we delayed the Putnam City West game from last week.
Well, you know, it's supposed to be on October the 12th now, that Monday of fall break. It'll be right after the Bartlesville game and in between the Choctaw game and it. So as of right now, it's on. We hope so because it cost us having a ball game. You know, we could have played Greenwood, Arkansas or Del City, both very, very tough opponents, obviously, but at least our kids would have got a chance to play. So this has kind of been the second open date we've had in 3 weeks. You know, we've had the one game in 3 weeks with Coweta, in which we know that didn't turn out too well. But we did get a good week of practice in. It did allow us to actually get a couple of kids back that was in quarantine. It's helped out a couple of little small injuries. So, you know, we're a little healthier than we've been and got some kids back. We're still missing 3 or 4 off of quarantine, but you know, we've had a great week. Actually, Tuesday and Wednesday of this week has probably been our 2 best practices of the year, and we had just to sit down with them and said, guys, you know, we can't keep looking and saying, well, this person will be back in this time, this person will be back in this time. We know who's out due to injuries. They're out for the year. It's just the way it is. We can sit here and mull over it and worry about it and, you know, sit here and pity and think that we can't win a game, or we can go out here and we can, you know, cinch our belt up and go out here and win some ball games and still make the playoffs. Looks like that's what they wanted to do. You know, tonight's a huge, huge game for us because without it, then you probably aren't making the playoffs. You get it, and it gets on a streak there, and we have 3 games here in a row that are very winnable that we looked at the first year and said was going to have to win regardless if we had the kids or not. These were 3 important games in a row. It's just counted a little bit differently. It's going to be Putnam City West, then Sand Springs, and then Bartlesville, but now it'll be Sand Springs, Bartlesville, and Putnam City West, and then we'll get into the meat of our schedule and then finish up with Ponca City. So huge game tonight. I'm very pleased with the way the kids practiced this week. You know, we've put in some more new faces. We're still trying to find that right fit, especially defensively in the secondary. We've got 2 different kids that's been back there. Coweta just torched us the other night. A lot of that, though, can't be blamed on the secondary. A lot of it we had pressure and then didn't make tackles up there in critical times that we needed to. So that's all stuff that we've practiced on. You know, we've got to be better offensively. We got to score when given the opportunity, and we've worked on all that. I feel like our two young quarterbacks have had a good 2 weeks of practice. I really liked what they were ready for last week, and they've even done better this week. So, you know, it's good to get out and get to play a game, because we haven't even been playing JV games because of the COVID and some of the kids that we had that were in quarantine were key members on our JVs, so we weren't having that. And then, of course, last week, Tulsa Union had to cancel with us because they didn't have any quarterbacks for their JV team. So it's crazy everywhere. You know, when the unions don't have enough kids to be able to finish up and doing some JV games, you know it's getting crazy.
Let's talk a little bit about that stretch here in the next week or so. We've got Bartlesville, and then we've got, as you say, Putnam City West on the 12th, and then Choctaw, those 3 games in a row. I know we talked Tuesday night about the possibility, and does it matter on that Choctaw game if you play it on a Thursday or Friday?
I don't think it really does. You know, it's not going to matter in there. That we'll just be playing along with them. We will definitely visit with them. We haven't made any contact as of yet. We'll get started on that next week. But, you know, I don't know if a day's different makes that much difference with these kids. It's kind of, for the kids that play JV, this is what they're normally used to anyway, because you would play on a Friday, then they would have that Monday JV game, and then most everybody in the last 20 years has been going Thursday night on the fall break. So for some of them, and like we talked to Devin on the radio, a lot of that is not, we're probably not going to get them to change that, and I can't blame them either.
Okay, let's move on. Sandites of Sand Springs, and they are under new rule this year. Bobby Klink, who was a former assistant here at Muskogee, coached at Broken Arrow, and he was over from Owasso, where he was an assistant, to take over the job that does many years at Sand Springs. Talk a little bit about what you know about him and his philosophy.
Well, you know, Coach, I've against him the one year he was at East Central. He had a great football team that year. They went to the semifinals. They played us in the quarterfinals and beat us over there. They got runner-up to Carl Albert that year. That was the first year that Travis was gone from up there, and he knew that was going to be a great team when he left, but that was just the circumstances. He left out of there and went into the private business. But Coach Klink is one of those young coaches, brings a lot of excitement. You can see the difference in the kids. You know, last year we beat them, I think it was 54-6, 52-6, something like that. And then we went over and hammered them pretty good in our JV game too. And of course, while our varsity team is way different than what it was last year, it's a lot of the same kids that we played against in that JV. But I think the biggest thing is he's brought excitement to them. You know, they've got a great quarterback, and you know, we faced 3 really good quarterbacks already, and this one might be the best of all of them throwing the football. He is really accurate, got a strong arm. Now his receivers, and I'm certainly not taking anything away from there, they're good. They're not the type of receivers that, say, Bentonville West had, or they're not like the number 1 from Coweta last week or 2 weeks ago that we played. But they're very capable of catching the ball and causing some problems for you. But he's got an extremely strong arm, Ty Pennington, that we're talking about. Defensively, they're running coaches 4-2-5. You know, he's been known for that. That's what he did over at Owasso the last couple of years with Bill and his staff, and of course winning the state championship last year. But Bobby's a great coach. Been around. He's always been a winner. He's been on all those great Jinx teams when he was growing up as a kid. So he is a good coach. He's brought a good staff with him, and I think the biggest thing I see the difference in their kids last year and now is, you know, on film you can see them on the sidelines, and if it's an 8-yard run, which, you know, is a nice run, but their kids act like it might as well have been 80. They're excited on the sidelines. They show enthusiasm, and that's what I think it's all about. They're having fun, it looks like, in Sand Springs right now. And they're 3-1 and probably should be 4-0. You know, they got beat second game, I guess. They beat Sapulpa first game, got beat second game by Tulsa Kelly, but Tulsa Kelly's got people running behind them over there because they're going to always run a man and put 9 in the box, and they had some drop balls and overthrows, and really should have been up on Tulsa Kelly 21-0 before Tulsa Kelly scored. But that's the only game they've lost. They're a very good football team, and we got our work cut out tonight.
You mentioned Pennington, and if you look at the stats, most of their offense really, maybe even more so than the 3 faced so far centers around him. He's got the passing yardage. He's also their main rusher. Does that make it easier to prepare?
Well, no, because it's just scary. He's just that good. I will not say that he's the runner. He reminds me a lot of the quarterback we faced from Coweta last week, 2 weeks ago. He's a very capable runner. He's probably not as good a runner as the kid from McGinnis. But I think overall, which that guy from Bentonville West and then from Coweta were both outstanding, both runners and throwers, and he's much like that. He can hurt you, but we're worried. We want them to, we've got to be able to stop their pass, especially the deep ball, and we do have to contain him. Fortunately, and it's not taking anything away from their tailback, but he's not the type of kid that, that Coweta had 2 weeks ago as a tailback, but he's a hard-nosed kid, and he'll come put his nose up in there and block hard and run hard. So we've got to stop the run first, like we always do, but we can't give up the big pass. We've got to make them have sustained drives. If they're going to get us in the end zone, we got to make them have 10 plays of where it allows them to make some mistakes. They may fumble, they may throw an interception, they have some turnovers as far as penalties and do that. But we cannot give up the big play. We've been giving up way too many of those in the first 3 weeks.
Okay, well, we'll come back a little bit later in our pregame and talk with Coach Watkins about the winning strategy for tonight. After we have this break, we'll come back and talk about the offense and defense with the coordinators after this timeout of 60 seconds. You're watching and listening to Rougher TV.
We are what makes Oklahoma proud. We are mothers. We are coaches, counselors, and teachers. We are community. We are innovators in medical technologies. We are researchers developing breakthroughs to diagnose, treat, and cure diseases. We are everyday people. We are Northeastern Health Systems.
There's an old school way of doing business here at James Hodge Ford. Exceptional service, a firm handshake, and the best price around on a new Ford vehicle. Of course, don't forget our Hodge promise to you, our customer, that's stronger than oak. That's just a great way of doing business.
The James Hodge Ford promise. The best selection, the absolute best price, and service guaranteed. James Hodge Ford, 1200 North Main, Muskogee. Online at hodgeford.com.
Back now in our pregame as we talk a little Rougher football and talk about the offensive side of things for the Roughers with offensive coordinator John Graham. Talk about the week of practice. Coach Watkins says it's been a pretty good week, or actually 2 weeks, I guess, for you guys.
Yeah, it really has. Obviously we were anxious to play that last week, but, it just didn't happen for us. But you know what? We did have a good week of practice. Felt like we were ready to play that game, but it just carried right into this week's practice. That the kids have been focused, had good energy. It'd be easy to hang their heads with all the things that have happened, with the injuries and such. And, they've responded well, and I've been really proud of them.
Talk a little bit about, particularly
In times of need, it's comforting to see faces of people you know and trust. Cornerstone Funeral Home in Muskogee cherishes the opportunity to be there for you and your family in life's most challenging times when friends are most important. Cornerstone Funeral Home and Crematory welcomes the opportunity to answer any questions regarding planning and pre-arrangements for you and your loved ones. Experience the difference. Cornerstone Funeral Home, 1830 North York in Muskogee, where you'll find faces you know and reputations you trust.
New Silverados up to 15,000 in total savings. Hi, Jay Hodge, and it really is the best time to buy at the all-new Jay Hodge Chevrolet in Muskogee. Tell them, Rick.
Summer sale down of all new 2020s.
New Silverados up to 15,000 total savings.
Don't overpay, come see 15KJ.
New Silverados up to 15,000 total savings at the all-new Jay Hodge Chevrolet of Muskogee.
144 West Shawnee.
When you come home after a long day, Bravado Wireless Home Internet has you covered in your neighborhood or on your farm. For a limited time, our unlimited home internet has been discounted to only $49 per month with the purchase of a $99 router. And get this, the first 3 months of service is on us. So what are you waiting for? Make the switch today and visit us at bravadowireless.com for more info and to find a store near you. We are Bravado Wireless, and we believe in the power of connection.
Okay, time now for Health of the Roughers in 3, 2, 1. Time now on pre. Okay, and talk about the offensive side of things for the Rougher with Roughers with offensive Sandites, and time to talk about the defensive side of things with defensive coordinator Travis Hill. Again, this week you got a quarterback that's kind of a multi-threat kind of guy, the fourth one we faced so far this year. What kind of lessons have we learned from the other three? That
Pennington, junior over at Sand Springs, matured real well from the last couple of years. Opportunity started last Springs. It just is fun. Defensively, it always makes it a little tougher when you get the double threat, because obviously he can get him out of maybe a bad play call or whatever, and if the young man still has the legs or the opportunity to get him out of bad situations. So we've just established some things defensively to help us. We really have not, to be honest with you, concentrated on that situation as much as the fact of just being where we're supposed to be. When that has happened to us, the last three ball games, it's not because of the great play from the quarterback, even though they are extremely good. It's because we were out of position. So we've really concentrated on those things to try to be in position, and based on some things that we're actually telling the kids, and some calling, and some strategically things we've done defensively to implement people in the proper place.
as far as the guys in the right positions, I know one thing we've noticed in the three previous games is the outside containment. Mm-hmm. And you just talked about these guys scramble and suddenly they get outside and there's no one home.
Yep. It's real simple. That's why those quarterbacks, even now in the NFL, it's changing there, are such that make it difficult. But again, it's just staying in our proper pass rush lanes. When it's a quarterback run game, understanding our fits. Those are things that we have just continuously concentrated on. So that's the reason why we want to line up on Friday and be excited about to see the opportunity for these kids to be successful with it.
How does Pennington compare to these other quarterbacks we've seen?
Well, here's what's sad. We think he has a better arm than any of the three. He has a rifle. He reminds me of the Coweta quarterback as far as his run game. Very, very similar. Tough kid, runs the football extremely well. But he has a better arm than any of the three quarterbacks we've seen, including the kid at Bentonville. He has a rifle, may not be as good up front, and hopefully that's something that now we can take advantage of.
Have we had injury difficulties or recoveries that or just new faces in the lineup this week?
There'll be more new faces in the lineup this week, more new faces. So Jacob Brennan will be our starting sandbacker. It's his first opportunity to get a start. You'll have Aiden Kemp back at safety, his first opportunity, sophomore, to get a start. So there's 2 new faces. Obviously, you know that we have other young men that are out for the season due to injuries. So it has been a shuffling and an adjustment, but you know that's what makes it fun and excitement. And every kid has tried to step up. Also, I want to mention Keandre Johns will get an opportunity to start at corner for us. So we're excited about that. So.
And that from Coach Travis Hill, the defensive coordinator for the Roughers. We'll come back with the health of the Roughers after this 30-second break. You're listening to Rougher TV.
In sports, having the right winning strategy is often the difference between winning and losing. The same is true when you need legal representation. For more than 15 years, the law offices of Michael A. Finnerty have successfully provided the winning strategy with excellence and integrity for the people of the Muskogee area in matters of personal injury, social security disability, and workers' compensation issues. The law office, Muskogee trusts Michael A. Finnerty, ready to develop a winning strategy. Michael A. Finnerty, 436 Court Street in Muskogee. Call 687-1155. Online at finnertylaw.com.
Time now for Health of the Roughers, brought to you by the folks at Healthcare and the Health of the Roughers. And it's time to talk with Coach Lee, with trainer Leo Krasuski, to talk a little bit about the things that are affecting the Roughers health-wise. This is the first week, really, that we've had any kind of what you might call fallish weather, probably the coolest evening of the year that we played so far. Leo, so what do you do in difference as far as preparation is concerned? Okay, this is John Grant. 1.
Really doesn't change. Actually, we push the water situation a lot more when it does this. When it's hot, it's not too hard to convince the kids, hey, I've got to drink water, stay hydrated. But when it starts to cool off like this, a lot of the times they are less aware of it. And you'd be surprised how often kids will get dehydrated when it starts getting cooler because they don't think about drinking water as much because it's not hot. I don't feel hot. I don't feel, they don't think they need it. So,
in terms of any type of preparation, what you pack, do you pack anything differently, warmer, anything for a night like this?
For ourselves, yeah, but in all honesty, yeah, but besides that, no, not really. We're still gonna, like I said, we do our pregame Gatorade, or I should say Powerade. I'm sorry. We do all that stuff like we normally do, but no, nothing really that different.
We'll come back and talk a little bit about who's here and who's not this week for the Roughers after this timeout.
Pain is temporary, pride is forever. At Excel Therapy, we want to be your athlete's advocate for excellence. We offer treatment methods that focus on strengthening muscles and improving flexibility to improve your overall performance. And when injury sets in, Excel Therapy can aid in the recovery process. We know it's important to get back in the game, so trust the comeback experts, Excel Physical Therapy and Sports Medicine. With 16 locations and no physician referral required, you can begin healing today. From setback to comeback, the name you can trust, Excel Physical Therapy and Sports Medicine. Look for us online at exceltherapyok.com.
Okay, so what have we got in injuries? I know we've had injuries. We've had COVID. 2 weeks of not playing, but exactly. I'm not sure things have gotten any better.
Well, I mean, the guys that are able to play who were bumped up, banged up, have actually gotten a lot healthier. So we are doing a lot better going into the game. Like I said, the bumps and the bruises from 2 weeks ago have healed up, and those guys who are still able to play are actually feeling better.
Well, we still have our main.
Yeah, unfortunately they're out, with Ty and with Caleb and that stuff. But the guys who are like the bumps, the bruising, this kind of stuff, like a couple of other guys, are doing much, much better.
Okay,
they're feeling much better.
Well, that's good news to go out on. Okay, so that's our report on Health of the Roughers, brought to you by Therapy. Back with more on our pregame after this timeout. You're watching and listening to Rougher TV.
There has never been a better time to buy than now. Drive a little, save a lot at Nissan of Muskogee Ultimate Used Car Sales Event. Save thousands now on all in-stock models. Come see us today at Nissan of Muskogee. Online at nissanofmuskogee.com. nissanofmuskogee.com. That's right, nissanofmuskogee.com. Use your cell phone, tablet, computer, we don't care. Just shop our huge selection of new and used online and then just pick, click, and drive. Why wait? It's that easy. Log on today at nissanofmuskogee.com.
Back now on our pregame, time for the winning strategy, brought to you by the law offices of Michael Finnerty. And coaches, we talked in pregame about the Ty Pennington and the Sand Springs Sandites. Kind of what is the strategy tonight for trying to control this guy?
Well, you know, again, like I said before, we got to stop the running game, force them to throw the ball, even though he does that very well. But we got to keep everything under us. We cannot get burnt deep. Our safeties have to do the back pedal. They have to stay back deep. Can't get anybody over the top with something up the seam or on a post or a go route. If they do that, make them earn it and don't give up the big play. We've got a great chance defensively. Offensively, we've been running the ball pretty well, but we got to get some passing game of our own going. We've got to be able to, I'm not saying we've got to go out here and throw for 200 or 300 yards, but we've got to be to where they can't just put 12 men or it seems like 12 men. They can't put 9 men in the box and try to stop us, because we just. What Raheem can, he's can go over the top type guy, but our two young quarterbacks right now are not great at throwing it over the top.
And that from Coach Rafe Watkins on our win strategy, brought to you by the law offices of Michael A. Finnerty. We'll take a final 30-second break and be back with a kickoff in tonight's game. You're watching Rougher TV.
JTK Imaging Services of Muskogee brings mobile digital imaging to you anytime, anywhere. JTK Imaging Services offers parents-to-be excitement and comfort of 3D and 4D ultrasound with ultrasound as low as $100. Services at JTK Imaging Services also include mobile digital ultrasound and x-ray anytime you need them. Discover the difference online at jtkimagingservices.com. JTK Imaging Services of Muskogee at 1631 North Main.
Nick Hampton and Brad back with you here at Memorial Stadium in Sand Springs, where the Roughers prepare to open the district play against the Sand Springs Sandites. It'll be a battle in the air tonight, at least for the Rougher defense, as Ty Pennington will light things up, Brad, and throw the ball maybe all night long.
Pennington is definitely, he's one of those multi-sport just athletes that Sand Springs produces every few years. They have a kid that he's just a total, and it's going to take a fundamental, focused, disciplined approach from the Roughers to control him tonight. But that's one of the things that you love about high school football, and you love about, especially when Sand Springs and Muskogee plays. I know last year's game was got to be able to kind of push that one away. But traditionally, Sand Springs and Muskogee, it's going to be a battle to the end.
You mentioned quarterbacks, and a guy like Pennington brings to mind Johnny Deaton, who played here and was a standout for the Sandites. Went on to play at Northeastern State for a couple of years, and that's the kind of athlete that they produce here. And a lot of these guys are also stars in wrestling.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's one of the Watkins has always mentioned. He said, when he came to Muskogee, that was one of the fundamental core values that Sand Springs had is they brought a toughness, and he always he gave that credit to a lot of the wrestling program that they had at Sand Springs. They were winning state titles left and right. They've got a kid that's wrestled at OSU that's probably going to make the Olympic team. I mean, it's just that kind of mindset, that hard-working, tough-nosed, gritty team that the Sandites seem to bring in every year. So it's going to be a tough contest for the Roughers, but like I said, we've had 2 weeks. I know that those boys are hungry for a win. They put the work in, and it's just time to go get one done and get a W.
Roughers won the coin toss and elected to defer and kick off and take the second half kickoff. So they're getting ready to kick things off, and as Travis Hill mentioned, some new faces on the defensive front tonight for the Roughers. LaShawn Manns will start at the nose guard spot tonight. He mentioned Keandre Johns starting. Aiden Kemp will start at a corner safety spot tonight. So some new faces, and the Roughers' defense will be tested, particularly that secondary. One Bear getting ready to kick it away for the Roughers, and we're just about set for football action tonight here at Memorial Stadium. Sandites will move from left to right as One Bear approaches and kicks the ball away. End-over-end kick will be taken at the 9, up to the 10, 15, 20, 25, and down hard at the 25-yard line right there. Good tackle by the Roughers on the far side. And the Sandites will get it 1st and 10. They'll start at their own 25-yard line. And this is where the Roughers want them to be, Brad. As Coach mentioned in his pregame, we got to make them drive, make them take lots of plays, not give up the big plays like we did against Coweta.
I think we're going to learn a lot about what the type of mindset that Muskogee has this evening. Just kind of this first drive, you're going to look to, you guys watching on TV, you're going to look to see if that defensive line and that linebacker core kind of forms that U-shaped pocket to keep Pennington in and kind of be able to make some plays defensively by the DBs.
Pennington, the quarterback, running back on his right side, throws in the flat. It's complete at the 29 and out of rounds around the 30-yard line. Quick hitter on the outside, just a little square out pattern. Far side by Caden Harris by Keaton Campbell for things.
That's one of those plays that you're going to see a lot from. Use that as kind of an extension of their
6-yard gain, 2nd and 4 for the Sandites. 31. Pennington hands the ball off. Around the far side goes Jones. Jones carries the ball up across the 35. Looks like he'll probably have the first down. One of the 2 running backs they'll have. He's a junior, had 21 carries coming into the game. Mark it right at the 35, which is exactly where he needed to go. 1st and 10 for the Sandites at the 35-yard line, their own 35. Jones will line up on the right shoulder now of Pennington. 3 wide receivers right for the Sandites. Pennington waits the snap, takes it, fakes a handoff, throws in the flat. It's complete out there to Cisco. And Jamon Cisco makes the reception at the 43-yard line. That'll be a gain of about 8. Again, just that little quick pass, Brad, out there in the flat. And the Sandites going quickly, not giving the Roughers much time to rehuddle.
Is his quarterback IQ. He's just watching those linebackers to kind of see where they are, reading coverage. Receivers are very intelligent as well. They just find the little hole. They take the 6, 7, 8 yards, and they're going to try to march it down the field.
Got 8 there, 2nd and 2. Handoff on a jet sweep around the right side. The Roughers close quickly and make a good stop. Isaiah Gibbons in on the stop for the Roughers. And let's see, up off the bottom of the pile. Looks like it'll be, who was that off the bottom of the pile?
I'm going to tell you who came in and really forced that play back to the inside was that starting safety getting his first start. That's Aiden Kemp. He was able to stay home and back to the middle to let those linebackers clean it up.
And it was Derek Whitfield, our pregame guest, that was on the bottom of the pile. They are about a yard short. They get only 1 on the carry, so 3rd down and a yard for the Sandites. Pennington takes the snap, hands the ball off to Jones again, hits the right side, and just managed to fall forward right at the sticks. It'll be a kind of a left foot, right foot kind of situation.
Ooh, that was a good spot.
Linesman says, yep, they got it right at the 45. So that's 2 first downs that they've gotten right on the nose on their first possession. 1st down and 10 for Sand Springs at their own 45 as they continue to run. 3 wide receivers to the right side, short side of the field, 1 to the left. As Ty Pennington ready, calls the signals. Jones behind him, fake handoff, throws out in the flat. It's complete to Blevins out there at the 50 and into Rougher territory at the 49-yard line.
Seneca Collins in on the stop for Muskogee.
Jacob Blevins, who had 9 receptions coming into the game, as the Sandites get 6 on that play, makes it 2nd and 4. And as Brad mentioned, just kind of an extension of their running game, just a little short passes, little button hooks, little square outs.
You get the idea they've got this triple set over to the right, and they're just kind of running in bubble behind that, but you get the idea that they're kind of setting up. They've got that guy out on the wide to the left, and you get the idea that they're going to hit him in a minute.
And they hit it. Blevins again. Blevins breaks 1 tackle before Whitfield finally brings him down, and Isaiah Gibbons, but not before he gets another first down, now at the Muskogee 43-yard line. So 3rd first down for the Sandites in this drive that started at their own 25.
You know, this is the kind of thing, though, that Coach Watkins was talking about. He wanted to force Sand Springs to make this type of drive.
But he hopes they make mistakes somewhere along the way. There's another pass out on the flat. This one goes to Whitehorn as he makes the catch out there, or Shoemaker, rather, Ryan Shoemaker, making the grab at the 39-yard line for a 4-yard pickup. 2nd down and 6 as the Sandites go quickly up to the line of scrimmage. And now we have a whistle and a timeout called by the Roughers. Timeout, so we'll take a break as well. 8:42 to play in the first quarter. No score here at Memorial Stadium. We'll be back in 60 seconds on Rougher TV.
Tradition. It's a word that means a lot. Just as the tradition of the Muskogee Roughers requires commitment of great players and coaches, Lesher Millsap Funeral Home takes pride in providing great value and commitment every day with a tradition of service to the families of the Muskogee area. Just like in football, tradition must be earned on every play, every day, not just in the final score. And that's why you can trust Lesher Millsap Funeral Home to be there for you when it counts the most. Lesher Millsap Funeral Home, proud to be part of the Muskogee tradition of excellence.
I'm Gil McLaughlin.
I'm Brian Kirkhart.
Thanks, Muskogee. Your hometown mortgage team, Muskogee Mortgage, the McLaughlin team, is proud to be Muskogee's preferred mortgage company.
We are extremely honored to serve you. Just like the Roughers have a game plan for victory, our daily game plan is to assist families to reach their financial goals.
Thanks, Muskogee, and good luck, Roughers, on your drive to win in 2020.
Your new home isn't so far away with the help of Muskogee Mortgage, 3241 Chandler Road, Muskogee, and online at MuskogeeMortgage.com.
Back to the action on a second down. Pennington fakes one, now throws to the deep sideline. It's Shoemaker at the 5, or at the 15, and down to inside the 10-yard line. Shoemaker tackle, Ryan Shoemaker, big sack, and he'll go from the 39 to the 9, a 30-yard gain on the play, and it'll be goal for the Sandites at the 9-yard line. Just kind of a straight fly pattern down that right side. Right?
Yeah, he kind of gave just a hesitation right there with in stopping at Everett, kind of bit, and he'd slip behind and gain a 30. They got first and goal.
Pennington up under center this time. Ruffers a little confused in the secondary. Handoff goes straight ahead. This is the big running back, Cody Kramer, for Sand Springs, and he'll get a couple of yards down to around the 7. We'll give him 2. Second and goal. Well, they mark it now a little closer to the 8, we'll say. So just a 1-yard gain. Second down and goal from the 8-yard line.
This is one of those positions that, like I said, the Rougher defense is going to be tested early. Sand Springs inside the goal line. This is kind of where we got to be fundamental and try to force them for a field goal attempt.
Up under center again. Fake handoff, roll into his left as Pennington looks, throws into the end zone, incomplete, and almost with a diving interception try out there was Zapata, I believe, who had a chance of that off the hands of the receiver, thrown a little bit behind him and flipped up in the air. No, Ruffers couldn't quite come up with it. Down in goal for the Soundites at the 8.
You got to believe Coach was extremely pleased with that play. That defensive lineman, that end and that outside linebacker, they didn't bite down hard on the inside trap and able to keep Pennington in the pocket, forced him to throw off his back foot back across field. They were fortunate not to get a pick.
Pennington throws the crossing pattern. It's completed around the 2-yard line. And now a flag comes out late, and the Ruffers, I think, are going to be called for unnecessary roughness probably as they hit him and then just drove him back about 10 yards and wouldn't let go after the whistle. So the play went down to about the 1-yard line on the pass completion. I think that was Campbell who made the reception out there. Again, these numbers a little bit difficult to read on these Sand Springs uniforms.
Oh, we'll definitely be happy next year when that new uniform policy steps in, and they've got to go those solid numbers on contrasting colors.
So there'll be a penalty half the distance, makes it about a half yard, but it's an automatic first down, and it'll be first and goal inside the 1 for the Sandites, as they have taken about 5 minutes off the clock so far here in the first quarter.
That's a back-breaking penalty for the Ruffers right there. They've done a good job and stepped up inside the goal line, and we're going to force a 4th down from about the 3-yard line.
A little bit of a frustration there, I think, that the Ruffers haven't been able to make a big stop. Blake Jones, the running back, and now the officials converging. And the referee comes over, has a word with Bobby Klink on the sideline. I'm not sure what the confusion in the clock now. Ready to go now. Whistle again. Okay, now I think we're ready to go. Pennington ready to take the snap. Ball inside the 1-yard. Ty Pennington with a hard run officially. On a 75-yard drive. What Rafe Watkins wanted to happen, but they didn't get the turnover or the stop. Sandites go twice in that drive. They can almost 5 minutes of the first quarter, and now the extra point coming from Hellman as the Sandites lead it by a score of 6-0. Hellman ready, ball's down, kicks on the way, it's up, and it's good. Timeout with 7:12 to play here in the first quarter as Sand Springs 7, Ruffers nothing. We'll be back in 60 seconds following this timeout. You're watching TV.
The Muskogee Athletic Department would like to recognize its proud Rougher Athletics sponsors: Armstrong Bank, Oklahoma Army National Guard, Arvest Bank, Chick-fil-A Muskogee, Neighbors Building Neighborhoods, St. Francis Muskogee, Tommy Nix Auto Group, Springs Skilled Nursing and Therapy. Go Roughers!
In times of need, it's comforting to see faces of people you know and trust. Cornerstone Funeral Home in Muskogee cherishes the opportunity to be there for you and your family in life's most challenging times when friends are most important. Cornerstone Funeral Home and Crematory welcomes the opportunity to answer any questions regarding planning and pre-arrangements for you and your loved ones. Experience the difference. Cornerstone Funeral Home, 1830 North York in Muskogee, where you'll find faces you know and reputations you trust.
So a 75-yard drive and exactly what the coaching staff wanted to have. There were no stops or along. Sand Springs cashes in and leads it by a count of 7-0. Heldon now with the kickoff to the Roughers. To the right side, Jaden Bell makes the catch at the 5, to the 10, to the 15, up to the 20, and to about the 23-yard line before he's buried by a host of black and gold shirted Sandites. So Muskogee will start 1st and 10 for the Roughers at their own 23. And let's see what Muskogee can do offensively against this Sand Springs defense.
Yeah, you get the idea that Muskogee's, they're going to have to be able, the coach mentioned it in the pregame, they're going to have to be able to pass the ball just a little bit to kind of get those linebackers and DBs to back off that, you know, the last 2 weeks or the last 2 games that we've played, I can't keep saying the last 2 weeks, but, you know, they've faced 8, 9 guys in the box, and it's just not a lot of running room for, even with the good offensive line play that we've had and the tough running of Givens and company.
Walker Newton, the quarterback, hands it off to Isaiah Gibbons. Gibbons tries the right side, not much there. Gets just across the 25. We'll give him 3 to the 26-yard line. Roughers, as we mentioned in pregame, used 3 or 4 running backs in the last game against Coweta, trying to find someone who could make it happen. Of course, the Roughers have got Isaiah Gibbons, who's the main back there. Brandon Tolbert. Also, Brandon Batiste saw a little action, and Brendan Wilson saw some action. So we've seen several, but no one has really taken up the mantle to really make the charge at running back for the Roughers so far.
It's just been one of those things, though, this year that, I mean, without the threat over the top, there's just not a lot of holes there to run in.
Newton fakes the handoff to Gibbons, keeps it himself, ducks inside right tackle, and gets maybe a yard to the 27 to bring up a 3rd and long for the Roughers. 3rd down and about 6 to go for Muskogee. They need to get it up to the 33. 7-0, Sandites lead here in the first quarter of this game. Clock at the 6-minute mark left to play here in quarter number 1. Roughers break the huddle. They'll send 2 wide receivers to the right, 1 to the left. As Walker Newton looks, throws to the right side, incomplete. Jaden Bell had him on the ball for just a moment, but couldn't haul it in. He would have had the 1st down if he'd been able to hang on to it, but it falls incomplete, and it'll bring up 4th down, and the Roughers will have to punt it.
Yeah, I know it's early, but that's a play that Muskogee's got to make. You know, Newton he's had his trials and tribulations as he's just been kind of thrown in, but that, like I said, he's had 2 weeks to prepare. He looked comfortable back there. Drop was good, pass was on the money. And we got to come up with the catch there.
Yeah, we've got to have those. So Antonio Zapata back to punt it away for the Roughers as they go 3 and out, and a whistle just as the play. And the Roughers probably in motion, I'm going to guess, on that play. And, yep, illegal procedure against Muskogee, so that'll move the ball back to the 22-yard line and make it a 4th down and 11 for the Roughers at that point. Now Zapata will back up, and he'll get this punt away from around his own 10-yard line.
You know, it's one of those things that, you know, you never want to say one of your bright spots has been your punter, but Zapata's really done a good job.
High snap. Zapata does a good job to go back. Hits it around the 45 across the field, and the Roughers into Muskogee territory. Zapata there, Brad, as that snap just kind of floated back to dying pass. Go back a few steps and get it, and then get the kick away before they block.
You know, the coaches show a couple weeks ago with Coach Dvorak, game coordinator, and Coach Watkins, and you know somebody, my dad asked him. He said, Antonio, what's your thought process when the ball's coming to you as far as punt? And he just said, catch it, and kick it. That's exactly right there, and
he got a pretty good kick out of it and good roll. 1st and 10, Sandites at the Muskogee 47-yard line. Ty Pennington ready as he takes the snap, hands the ball off to first man through. That's Blake Jones. And he'll get about 3 from the 44, 2nd down and 7.
You know, Jones is one of those running backs for Sand Springs that he's just a tough, hard-nosed kid. He's going to run in between the two. He's going to be powerful. He's going to get 3-4 yards up pop.
Pennington back to pass after the fake handoff. Ruffers come in, and they're going to sack him back inside the 45-yard line. And it's Devin Whitfield, our guest on the pregame show, comes in, gets the final sack. He had some help from some teammates there, and they put the pressure on Pennington, sacking back at the 45-yard line. That's a loss of 11 and brings up 3rd and long now.
You know, and that's Whitfield and company, they're going to get the credit for the sack, but also, like, you got to give half of that to your DBs because looking to take a shot, had to go and kind of had to eat it, and luckily that gave the Rougher defensive line a chance to bring him down in the backfield.
And a hard count at the line, but it looks like Sandites were the ones who actually ended up moving. So 5-yard walk-off moves the ball back to now it's the same. This drive gone considerably backwards. Empty backfield for Pennington. 3 wide receivers right, 2 left as Pennington calls the count. Takes it, quick pass out. It's complete to Cisco. He gets away from one end at the 40, at the 5 to about the 47. So he'll get about 7 yards on the carry. Break and the Sandites play on down in 16 from their own 40, call it the 46.
You know, that season long defense, Hill and his play call and his staff, they've had our guys in the right positions. They've just been begging and pleading. Guys, they did a great job right there. They forced the guys.
Back help. Right by and no. One-yard punt. Got there.
It's just careful not turn the ball over. Bell was so it was going to be dangerous to make the catch, but and then it just Sandites were.
Takes it, throws out to his right in the flat. Oh, the Roughers are drilled out there, but it's an incomplete pass. Sandites had that one smelled out as the Roughers. Newton rolled out to his right, and just before he cut up field, threw it out into the flat almost laterally, and whoever the receiver was out there couldn't tell, but I think it might have been Bell, just got creamed and knocked the ball loose.
Yeah, that's one of those that it's kind of just floated on him, you know, and the DB, the corner made a good read and laid a pop on him.
2nd and 10 for the Roughers at the 7. Newton and Givens in the backfield, 2 wide receivers right, 1 left as Newton calls the count. Hands the ball off to Givens, has a hole at the 10, 15, at the 20-yard line, still going at the 23. Isaiah Givens getting the handoff, finds a little hole on the right side, squirts through it, and goes from the 7 up to the 23, a 16-yard gain, and a 1st and 10 for the Roughers. 1st down for Muskogee. Quick play as they hand off to Givens again at the 30, at the 35, at the 40, at the 45. It was Isaiah Givens this time as he is with the no huddle. Another 1st down for Hodge Chevrolet Cadillac. Ball spotted right at midfield.
Well, I'm going to tell you, there's not many kids in the high school tougher than Isaiah Givens. He's a great kid, great worker, great in the classroom, but I'm going to tell you, that kid is hard-nosed, and he's just a football player.
2 runs by Givens move the ball from the 7 to the midfield mark. Hand off to Givens again. This time the Sandites stack him up after a short gain. He'll get about a yard and a half to around, let's call it the 48, will be generous. 2 yards picked up by Givens. 2nd down and 8, a long 8 for Muskogee at the Sandite 48. So first time that Muskogee's had the ball in Sand Springs territory tonight. 7-0, Sandites lead here in the first quarter as we near 2.5 minutes left to play in quarter number 1.
You know, tough running by Givens on those last 2 plays, but let's not forget that those guys up front, that, man, there was a couple of holes there that's exactly what they want to see offensively.
Newton wants to pass, throws out in the flat. It's complete at around the 35-yard line and then driven back hard. Up there, let's see who that is. I think it's TK Thompson making the reception at the 30. So that's a nice gain for Muskogee down to the 35-yard line. And it'll be third down, still about 45-yard line.
Yeah, but that's one of those plays that Muskogee hinted on in the first half. That's just enough that just kind of to get that secondary to back off a little bit, hopefully open those holes inside.
Sandite 45. Long line right. And fake. Newton keeps it, gets to the 45, and then is hit down as he's tried to find a way to get outside there. As they come in with their fine linebacker out there, Dudley. Brooks Dudley making the tackle right at the line of scrimmage, the 45. And it'll be fourth down for the Roughers, 4th and 5. And looks like Rafe Watkins is going to roll the dice here and go for it on 4th down and 5 from the Sandite 45-yard line. Walker Newton ready as he looks, takes it, rolls to his right. Looks, throws down the field, has a man open at the 30, at the 15, at the 10, the 5, and tackled just before the end zone.
I'm going to tell you, that play that Bell got lit up on inside the 5 earlier set that play up. Jaden Bell faked this screen, and the receiver that was supposed to be blocking, those DBs jumped that route. The receiver slipped it, and he was wide open. Ruffers got the ball first and goal from inside the 3-yard line.
43 yards on the pass play from Newton to Bell. First and goal, Ruffers. At the 2-yard line, handoff to Givens, tries the right, or Tolbert, I think that is, straight ahead, and he's in for the touchdown. Touchdown, Muskogee Ruffers. And I think it's Tolbert who is carrying the mail that time for the Ruffers. So Ruffers within a point of tying this one up. And it'll be now extra point as the Ruffers get ready to try the extra point. Stewart with the extra point attempt on the way up, and it's good. So Carter Stewart gets the extra point kick, and the Ruffers tie the game at 7 apiece on the running of Isaiah Givens and the long pass to Jaden Bell. Timeout, 29 seconds to play here in the first quarter. We'll be back after this 30-second timeout. Score tied at 7. We'll be back after this break on Rougher TV.
New Silverados up to 15,000 in total savings. Hi, Jay Hodge, and it really is the best time to buy at the all-new Jay Hodge Chevrolet Muskogee. Tell them, Rick.
Summer sale down of all new 2020s.
New Silverados up to 15,000 total savings.
Don't overpay, come see 15KJ.
New Silverados up to 15,000 total savings at the all-new Jay Hodge Chevrolet of Muskogee.
144 West Shawnee.
So the Ruffers come back and tie the game. A 93-yard drive, Brad, for the Ruffers. I think that's their longest of the year. Let's see, 3, 6, 7, 8 plays. And the running of Givens and the long pass to Bell setting it up.
Yeah, that's one of those things that you put the young QB in. You give him 2 weeks to practice and kind of get his feet under him. And, hey, Newton's a ball player. He's a gamer. And I think he just said game on.
One bear with the kickoff for the Ruffers. Short kick fielded at the 25 and up across the 30 to about the 31-yard line come the Sandites. So they'll take over there. Let's see if the defense can find the way like they did last time. Sandites kind of shot themselves in the foot with a couple of penalties that hurt them on the last time, and the Ruffers stopped them on a 3-and-out. First and 10 from their own 31.
That's definitely, you think, almost through the first quarter, Muskogee's got to be happy with the play of their defense. I know they gave up a TD early, but it was fundamental. They forced them to make a long drive, a fundamental drive, and then we had a big sack on the first play of the last series. So like I said, it's just a ball game. It's just going to come down to who's going to execute, who's going to
Backfield
make plays.
ball kept by Pennington. Breaks 2 tackles. Is at the 40, at the 45. They had Pennington back there. A couple of the Roughers had him by the jersey but couldn't haul him down, and he ends up going from the 31 up to the 45, 14 yards, and another first down for the Sandites at their own 45-yard line. And that may be the final play here of the first quarter as the clock winds down now with 5 seconds. Sandites aren't in any hurry to get it off, so that's the end of the first quarter. We're tied at 7 here at Memorial Stadium. Back in 60 seconds after this timeout. You're watching Rougher TV.
When you come home after a long day, Rivado Wireless Home Internet has you covered in your neighborhood or on your farm. For a limited time, our unlimited home internet has been discounted to only $49 per month with the purchase of a $99 router. And get this, the first 3 months of service is on us. So what are you waiting for? Make the switch today and visit us at bravadowireless.com for more info and to find a store near you. We are Bravado Wireless, and we believe in the power of connection.
Pioneer Abstract, proudly serving residential and commercial customers throughout Muskogee County since 1905, serving banks, mortgage companies, and mortgage brokers with refinancing, purchase, 1031 tax-deferred exchanges, along with full escrow services and more. Pioneer Abstract offers the convenience of centralized services for escrow accounts, title insurance, and title searches. Pioneer Abstract, here yesterday, here today, and here tomorrow at 412 West Broadway in downtown Muskogee, or call Pioneer Abstract at 683-2904.
Ready to start quarter number 2 here at Memorial Stadium with our score tied at 7 in this district opener for the Roughers. Sandites already 1-0 in district play. Ty Pennington calling the count from his own 45-yard line on a 1st and 10. Man in motion. Handoff comes around and wants to be passed. Cisco looks for someone, or Campbell looks for someone, lobs it up in the air, and it is kicked around incomplete. That was one that the Roughers thought for sure they might come down with. Just a dying quail out there, and just all kinds of people had a shot at it out there, but no one. I think Seneca Collins was the closest one to be able to haul it in, but it's incomplete, 2nd and 10.
Ooh, what a play. You know, they tried to take a shot on Muskogee, but like we've said all night, you can tell their preparation, their focus, they're in position, but you sure would have liked to have seen the Rougher DBs be able to come down with that one right there.
Pennington throws in the flat, complete to Cisco. He's at midfield and then forced out of bounds on the near side by Collins again. That'll be a gain down to the 49, so a pickup of 6 yards on the play. 3rd down and 4 for the Sandites out now in Muskogee territory at the Rougher 45. Pennington gets them up to the line of scrimmage. Has a slot to the right side, which is the wide side. Just one receiver left. Tied in, hunched in close. They hand the ball off, or fake handoff. Pennington keeps it at the 45, has a 1st down at the 40, still going, and finally out of bounds around the 35-yard line. They say he stepped out at the 38. So it's a gain down to the 38. That's an 11-yard pickup, and a 1st down for the Sandites at the Muskogee 38-yard line. They just keep right on rolling. This drive started at their own 31. This will be the 6th play of the drive. Pennington ready. Man in motion comes to his left. They hand the ball off to Jones. Jones has it. Gets around one man and out of bounds around the 35-yard line. Or that's Cisco rather than Jones. Cisco on this jet sweep. And he'll get down to the 29. They'll mark it. So that's a 9-yard pickup. 2nd down and 1. Wide variety of plays that the Sandites have thrown out at the Roughers so far.
Yeah, that's one of the things that just watching this game, that the Sand Springs receivers, they bring a physicality, and they're a blocker out on the edge, because if they're not doing their job, that play goes for naught.
Pennington ready with wide receivers to both sides. Throws in the flat. It's deflected and knocked down incomplete. And I think it's Jacob Brennan, who's getting a start at linebacker tonight, got his hands up there and knocked that one down. And it'll bring up 3rd down and a yard for the Sand Springs Sandites.
You know, that's one of the things that linebacker coaches, defensive line coaches are going to tell you all the time, is that if you can't get there, you get your hands up. Rougher linebacker did a great job getting his hand up. 3rd and short.
3rd and 1 for the Sandites. Pennington calls the count and then stops, looks over to the sideline. Still a lot of time on the play clock. Now he'll come up. Looks like they may have changed the play. Pennington ready, has a running back off to his left. Takes it, hands the ball off. That's Kramer. Big hole over the left side to the 15, 20, 20, 15, 10, and pushed out of bounds at around the 10-yard line. As, make sure of that, no, that's Jones. This number's hard to pick up. So he gets down to the 8 is where they'll spot it. 21 yards on the carry by Jones, and a 1st and goal for the Sandites.
That's one of those. The Sandites just went behind their left tackle, 6'4", 280, Trevin Corona.
From the 8-yard line. Hand off to Cisco on the jet sweep going right. Turns the corner at the 10, back to the 5, and then forced out of bounds and hard at around the 5-yard line. Just picked up and carried off the sideline by the Roughers over there. They'll spot it down at the 4, so a 4-yard pickup on the end around to Jamon Cisco. 2nd and goal for Sand Springs. This drive started for the Sandites at their own 31-yard line.
It's just been another one of those.
Very similar to that first drive they had, right?
Absolutely. And give credit to the Sandites. It takes a lot of discipline, a lot of intelligence to be able to do this in high school football.
Pennington fakes a handoff, throws in the slant pass incomplete. Good defensive effort that time by the Roughers as they get in there and knock that one down real quickly. Aiden Kemp at the cornerback spot got a hand in there and knocked it away. 3rd and goal for the Sandites at the 4.
Yeah, last time we were in this position, the Roughers made a good play defensively, but a untimely, unsportsmanlike conduct penalty gave the Sandites the 1st and goal. Let's see what the Roughers defense can do right here.
From the 4, Pennington calls the signals. Hands the ball off straight up the middle, touchdown. And it's Jones, or no, Cody Kemp, or Cody Kramer rather, I'm sorry, carrying the mail. And Kemp goes over from 4 yards out to cap the drive with 10:34 to play here in the first half. Another long sustained drive, 69 yards by Sand Springs. Hellman with the extra point attempt. It's on the way. It's up and good. Timeout, 10:34 to play before the halftime gun. 14-7, Sand Springs lead it. We'll be back in 30 seconds after this timeout on Rougher TV.
We are what makes Oklahoma proud. We are mothers. We are coaches, counselors, and teachers. We are community. We are innovators in medical technologies. We are researchers developing breakthroughs to diagnose, treat, and cure diseases. We are everyday people. We are Northeastern Health Systems.
Ten-play drive by the Sand Springs Sandites, covering 69 yards. First possession they had, they drove it 75 yards in 13 plays. So good ball control and good running by the Sand Springs. Just looking at the stats, we hadn't really seen that much from their running backs in terms of yardage, and it had been mostly Pennington, but the other guys have gotten their fair share of yards tonight as well.
Yeah, definitely. If you look at the stats on the season, they threw it 65 to 75% of the time that they took a snap, and it's been a lot of the ground game. It's been a lot of end arounds, receivers arounds, and then right across the middle with the power running.
Short kickoff by the Roughers. Taken at the 20, 25 by Payne. At the 30, 35, 40, and still trying to stay on his feet, and Raheem Payne gets up to the 42-yard line. Nice effort by Raheem Payne as he took the kick around his 20. Got a pretty good return, set up the Roughers at the 1st and 10. Let's say where they'll spot at 41, it looks like.
Yeah, Payne's been one of those kids that I can guarantee you they've been excited to see out at practice and in a football uniform this year. You know, he's a standout on the basketball court, but they kind of got their arms around him and said, hey, man, come make plays out on the football field, and he's sure been a bright spot for the Roughers.
So let's see what Muskogee's offense can do here. Brandon Tolbert at the running back spot for the Roughers. Walker Newton, the quarterback. Furry takes it, hands it off to Tolbert. Tries the right side, not much there, maybe a yard. That's about it, up to the 42. Brandon Tolbert, who comes into the game, had 29 carries for 124 yards coming in tonight. Just a sophomore. A lot of potential there. We'll give him 2, they'll say, from the 41 to the 43. 2nd down and 8 for Muskogee. Newton looking over to the sideline as the play signaled in for the Roughers. Clock moves inside 10 minutes to play here in the first half with the Sandites on top, 14-7. Tolbert on the left shoulder of Walker Newton. Two wide receivers right for Muskogee, or to the left rather. Hand off to Tolbert. He fumbles the ball. It's loose and around the 40. Still scrambling for it. Sandites say they've got it. Let's see. Nothing official. I think the Roughers may have gotten it back. Yeah, they did. Let's see who comes up with the ball at the end down there.
71.
I think it was, let's see, Alan Hill. He was our guest on the coaches show the other night. He comes up with a loose ball as Tolbert coughed it up right at the line of scrimmage. Roughers lose 3 on the play back to the 40. 3rd and long for Muskogee.
What big break for Muskogee because that ball was on the turf for a long time.
3rd and 11 for the Roughers at their own 40. Newton takes it, goes back to pass, looks, scrambles around, gets away from 2 men. Now he's going to run it at the 40, 45 at midfield. He'll have the first down. Nice effort by Walker Newton as he got in some trouble, but just scrambled loose and gets the first down. First down, J. Hodge Chevrolet Cadillac. Muskogee Rougher 1st and 10, and they'll spot it at the Sand Springs 47.
Hey, that's definitely, you can just see the maturation of Newton just with those 2 weeks of practice. That's 2 weeks ago, he just kind of throws it away, and we go off and punt and move on. But yeah, this kid's an athlete, and he's starting to feel his feet underneath him. You get the idea that the game might be slowing down just a little bit. Just great play.
13 yards on that ground and that gain by Newton. 1st and 10, the Roughers. They hand the ball to Tolbert. Or let's see, is that Tolbert on his feet inside the 45 to the 44. Gain of about 3 on the carry. As the Roughers get the first down, or get the 3-yard gain. Roughers still trying to keep the drive going at the Sandite 43-yard line.
A tough run up the middle. You know, first contact was just close to the line of scrimmage, but just the tough-minded of the Rougher running back.
Givens, the running back, gets a handoff, crashes inside the 40, and he's down to the 38. Be just a little bit short of the first down, it looks like. Gets about 5 on that carry. And it'll be 3rd down, about a yard for the Roughers, a short yard at that. 14-7, Sand Springs leading in this district opener for Muskogee. Sand Springs already has a district win under their belt. Walker Newton calls the signals, hands it off to Givens, goes up the middle. He'll have the first down at the 35. Still on his feet at the 33. They finally bring him down. Another great effort by Isaiah Gibbons, and it's good for another J. Hodge Chevy Cadillac Muskogee Rougher first down as they'll spot it at the 32. 6-yard gain on the play for the Roughers. So Muskogee putting together a nice drive here.
I can tell you that's been a point of emphasis as well with the Rougher coaching staff. Is, you know, early in the season, a lot of times those holes would be open inside. You'd see those Rougher running backs trying to bounce the ball to the outside, and they said, hey, this is 6A2 football. We got to take what we can get, stay in those lanes, and take 3, 4, 5, 6 yards at a time.
Gibbons has it, but then he has the ball knocked loose, and the Sandites get this one. Gibbons had the ball, got the ball inside the 30-yard line, but had it poked out from him, and the Sandites recover at their own 32-yard line. So they stop the drive.
Yeah, that's one of those instances that, you know, you can't turn the ball over there, but that's just a turnover. He was just fighting for extra yards, lost the ball. Hindsight's 20/20. You go down, you take your 6 yards, and we snap again.
So the Sandites at their own 32-yard line, 1st and 10. 2 fumbles on that drive for the Roughers. Really proved costly, especially the second one. Pennington ready, takes a snap, fakes the handoff, throws in the flat, complete at the 40, at the 45, at midfield, and down again. Shoemaker making the reception for the Sandites, and he gets it into Muskogee territory at the 47. That'll be a 21-yard gain on the play, and another first down for the Sandites. They're ready to go quickly at the line of scrimmage. Pennington ready, fakes a handoff, throws in the complete to Campbell. He has it at the 45, moves down to the inside the 40, and will be brought down to the 39. So that'll be about an 8-yard gain on that play as the Sandites just move the ball down the field. 2nd and 2 for Sand Springs. Pennington again throws in the flat. This one is complete, but for not much gain. Good tackle out there on the side by Seneca Collins.
A great read by Seneca. You know, he's been another bright spot for Muskogee. He was a star on the pitch. He was a soccer player. You know, they got alone and they said, hey, man, you're an athlete. Come make plays for us defensively. And he's starting to feel his role there as a corner for Muskogee.
1-yard gain on the play. Makes it 3rd down and a yard for the Sandites at the 39 or 38-yard line, let's call it. Need to get to the 37. Pennington takes it, hands off to his running back. He has the 1st down at the 35, at the 30, still going down to around the 27. Just good effort by Blake Jones. Just bulled his way down there.
It's tough running, and, you know, that's one of those things that those old school O-line, D-line guys, they're going to tell you the low man wins. Ruffers kind of got caught standing flat-footed, standing straight up. Jones was able to lower his shoulder and drive the pile.
11-yard gain and a 1st down. Jones busts off a couple of tackles, gets down the sideline, and finally forced out of bounds at around the 15, it looks like. And that'll be another 1st down for Sand Springs, as the Sandites just chewing up the yardage here on this drive. Started at their own 32 and now down to the Muskogee 15. This will be that's the 3rd 1st down for the Sandites in this series.
I mean, like I said, it's just been a clinic. Pennington's thrown the ball 12 times tonight. It's got 1 incompletion. You know, they've got their 12, 13 1st downs.
They break out. We'll send 3 wide receivers right, 2 to the left. 1st and 10 from the 15. Pennington throws across the middle. Oh, had a man wide open there, Shoemaker. He was wide open in the middle, but Pennington's pass was behind him and goes incomplete.
You got to think that offensive coordinator, he'd been holding that card all night. They ran all those little bubbles, those little fake screens, those little short passes as the extension. If you watched on both receivers, they kind of faked the short screen. They slipped that tight end up the middle. He was wide open. The Ruffers catch a break there.
So 2nd and 10 for Sand Springs at the Muskogee 15. Incompletion stops the clock with 5:08 to play here in the half. Pennington ready, takes a snap, hands off to Jones. Jones a little hole over the right side, gets down to about the 11-yard line for a 4-yard pickup. And that'll be 3rd down. Still about 6 to go for the Sandites.
You get the idea with Coach Klink and his moxie, if you will, his attitude, his toughness that he brings to his team, that you kind of get the idea that this is 4-down territory inside.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Pennington fakes a handoff, throws a slant, has a man open out there, but again, couldn't hang on to it. Excuse me, I think that was Campbell out there. Ball was to him, pretty good pass by Pennington, but Campbell just couldn't haul it in. And it is 4th down, and let's see what Bobby Klink will do.
They're going to make a liar out of me, huh?
Yeah, they're going to kick the field goal, looks like. Hellman will come in, and this will be a 33 or the 28-yard kick. Pennington is the holder, so watch out there. Snap is back, ball's down. Hellman's kick is on the way, plenty of leg, and it is good. 4:32 to play in the 1st half. Hellman's 28-yard field goal good, and that extends the Sandite lead now to 17-7. We'll be back after this 30-second break with Sand Springs leading 17-7 back after this timeout on Rougher TV.
There's an old school way of doing business here at James Hodge Ford. Exceptional service, a firm handshake, and the best price around on a new Ford vehicle. Of course, don't forget our Hodge promise to you, our customer, that's stronger than oak. That's just a great way of doing business.
The James Hodge Ford promise. The best selection, the absolute best price, and service guaranteed. James Hodge Ford, 1200 North Main, Muskogee, online at hodgeford.com.
Back with you here at Memorial Stadium. 17-7, Sand Springs leading. If you're looking for some insurance, you can always count on your fast, fair, friendly State Farm insurance agent, David Cole. For health, home, car, business, or life, call David Cole, State Farm Insurance, 918-682-2511. The Roughers need some insurance here to see if they can get something done offensively before this one slips away too much.
With David Cobb, he's always been a good supporter of Muskogee athletics. Anything you guys need, he's always been there. He's a Muskogee guy through and through.
Hellman's kickoff taken at the 5 to the 10 by Bell across the 30 finally and up to around the 34. So again, a nice return by Jaden Bell, and the Roughers get it in decent field position. And now you got to do something with it.
You get the idea that, I know it's first half, and I know it's early, but this is a big offensive series for Muskogee. Their defense has been on the field a lot in the first half. You'd like to see the Roughers chew up 4, 5, 6 first downs and maybe cash in with 3 or 7, but at least take some of the time off the clock.
Yeah, we don't want to give the Sandites the ball back again. Handoff goes over the right side to the running back. I think that's Givens or Tolbert. Let's see who gets up off there. Oh, no, that's Brandon Batiste. So Brandon Batiste in now for the first time at running back. Moves from the 34 to the 37, a 3-yard pickup. Second down and 7 for Muskogee as the clock moves inside. 4 minutes to play here in the half. Batiste and Walker Newton in the backfield, 2 wide receivers right. Newton fakes the handoff, keeps it himself, has some room. Oh, an arm tackle out there. That would look like it was going to go somewhere, but one of the Sandites got an arm on him, and unfortunately, Walker Newton, not a real big guy, 5'10", 150, so they bring him down basically with an arm tackle out there, and he'll get 3 or 4 yards on it, though.
Gain of 4, that's the right read. That end crashed in hard on the Rougher running back. He took it. You'd like to see him take it just a little wider, but, hey, good play. Clock's moving. We're in short yardage here.
3rd down and 3 for the Roughers at the 41. Snap is back, a little confusion. Newton fakes the handoff, keeps it himself, and he'll move up close to the first down. Let's see where they'll spot it. And the official says, yes, indeed, good for another J. Hodge Chevrolet Cadillac first down for Muskogee right at the sticks at the 44.
And that's kind of the play the Roughers needed, especially the first couple of weeks, that they needed Newton to be able to make it. Just make the right read, move the ball, keep the clock moving. He's done a good job. He's completed a few passes. He's 2 of 4 for 47 yards. He's got 5 carries for 21. He's done a good job this evening.
Yeah, so far it's been the Rougher defense that hasn't been able to find the stopper for Sand Springs. Newton's long pass downfield, has a man open, and it's just knocked away. Right at the last second. Was that Bell down there?
Looked like Zapata.
Zapata was open for a moment. The ball floated just a little bit, and it allowed the Sand Springs defender to get back there just enough to knock it away. Incomplete. So 2nd and 10 for the Roughers.
With just enough pressure by the Sandites defensive front to not allow Newton and set his feet, because I firmly believe if he had time to set his feet, that's 6 points on the board for Muskogee.
He had to throw that one off his back foot, so he didn't get much on it. 2nd and 10 for the Roughers. Handoff goes over the right side, and this is Givens. Givens carries, gets some yardage.
It's 11, another first down.
So first down for the Roughers, 1st and 10. J. Hodge Chevrolet Cadillac, first down Roughers at the Sand Springs 45. Handoff to Givens again, goes over the left side at the 40, 35, 30, cuts back inside at the 25, 20, 15-yard line. Isaiah Givens, again with the run, they'll say his knee touched at the 16. So that'll be a 29-yard pickup by Isaiah Givens. And it's another J. Hodge Chevrolet Cadillac first down for the Roughers as they move the ball now into the red zone.
Yeah, that's Givens' 10th carry of the night. He's already over 10. He's got 106. And if it wasn't for the fumble,
yeah, he had 2 big carries on the Rougher touchdown drive. Had some big carries on this drive so far. And now we have a timeout call by Sand Springs. 2:08 to play here in the first half. Sandites lead it by a score of 17-7. Back after this 30-second timeout on Rougher TV.
In sports, having the right winning strategy is often the difference between winning and losing. The same is true when you need legal representation. For more than 15 years, the law offices of Michael E. Finnerty have successfully provided the winning strategy with excellence and integrity for the people of the Muskogee area in matters of personal injury, Social Security disability, and workers' compensation issues. The law office, Muskogee trusts Michael A. Finnerty, ready to develop a winning strategy. Michael A. Finnerty, 436 Court Street in Muskogee. Call 687-1155. Online at finnertylaw.com.
So the Roughers threatening as they have the ball at the Sand Springs 16-yard line. Just over 2 minutes to play here in the first half with the Sandites leading 17-7.
You got to believe that Coach Graham, our offensive coordinator, if he could have drawn up the offensive game plan, this is exactly what he wants to see. You know, we ran the ball really well between the tackles. The offensive line has done a great job because a lot of those holes that Givens has busted through, they've been big. Those guys up front, Allen Hill, Wendell Johnson, James Moore, Vernon Pepiakta, Keenan Allen, Malachi. I mean, they've done a great job.
First and 10, handoff to Givens, right up the middle. Powers his way down to the 10, still going down to around the 9 or maybe even 8. Great effort by Isaiah Givens as he was hit it around the 12. Just lowered his shoulder and gets another 4 yards out of it to make it an 8-yard gain. 2nd down and 2 for Roughers.
Is it just me, or does Givens seem to be getting stronger on every carry? It's like the more contact they give him, that boy just says, let's go, give it to me.
A little more inspired, it seems to me like, too, tonight. From the 8, handoff, Givens slips as he tries to make a cut, and he'll lose a little bit of yardage. And the Roughers are going to call a timeout, I think. Yeah. Timeout, Muskogee, with 1.5 minutes to play before halftime. We'll take a break with them for 30 seconds. 17-7, Sand Springs lead. Back after this 30-second break on Rougher TV and Okie Country FX.
Pain is temporary, pride is forever. At Excel Therapy, we want to be your athlete's advocate for excellence. We offer treatment methods that focus on strengthening muscles and improving flexibility to improve your overall performance. And when injury sets in, Excel Therapy can aid in the recovery process. We know it's important to get back in the game, so trust the comeback experts, Excel Physical Therapy and Sports Medicine. With 16 locations and no physician referral required, you can begin healing today. From setback to comeback, the name you can trust, Excel Physical Therapy and Sports Medicine. Look for us online at exceltherapyok.com.
So it was about a loss of 3 on the play for Givens as he slipped down trying to make a cut back, and it goes back to the 11-yard line. So it'll be 3rd and 5 for the Roughers at the 11. They call the timeout to huddle on the sideline and see what kind of play they want to go with here. Givens will be on the right shoulder of Walker Newton. 2 wide receivers right. They hand it to Givens, sweeps to the left side, gets away from 1 man at the 10, at the 5, and he's out of bounds, stepped out at around the 4, it looks like. Tried to walk the sideline over there, tight-roped it, but stepped out at the 4. So it
gain of 5?
That's a gain of 7, and it's 1st and goal for the Roughers. 1st and 10, Jay Hodge Chevrolet Cadillac for Muskogee. 1st and 10 at the 4-yard line for the Roughers.
I'm going to tell you, I'm one of those guys that, and maybe I'm just a homer bleed green, but you get Isaiah Givens out on the corner, it's just him and another man, and my money's going on Givens all night long.
Ready to go, 1st and goal. They fake, there they do hand to Givens, and he powers his way down to about the 2. Gets half of what he needs from the 4 down to the 2. 2nd and goal as the clock moves down toward the 1 minute mark to play here in the first half.
You know, pregame Coach Graham talked about they got all these running backs and they were looking for that guy that's going to be the man. And I think they've got a hot hand going right now.
Givens has it again, crashes in. Is he in?
Oh.
Not quite, it doesn't look like. Nope, just short inside the 1-yard line. So give Givens a yard. Clock still moving as we now are 45 seconds to play in the half. Roughers up to the line quickly. 3rd down and goal, and now they're going to call a timeout and talk it over. So we will also take, or Sand Springs calls a timeout rather. 44 seconds left to play. 17-7, Sandites lead it back in 30 seconds on Rougher TV.
There has never been a better time to buy than now. Drive a little, save a lot at Nissan of Muskogee Ultimate Used Car Sales Event. Save thousands now on all in-stock models. Come see us today at Nissan of Muskogee. Online at nissanofmuskogee.com. NissanofMuskogee.com. That's right, NissanofMuskogee.com. Use your cell phone, tablet, computer, we don't care. Just shop our huge selection of new and used online and then just pick, click, and drive. Why wait? It's that easy. Log on today at NissanofMuskogee.com.
So let's see what kind of play the rougher offensive mindsets have come up with here on 3rd and goal inside the 1-yard line.
Hey, this is one of those times that, you got to attribute Coach, our AD, Mr. Jason Parker, Coach Platter for being able to put together the ability for us to have our Summer Pride program and for our kids to get in there and get those lifts in. Any coach you talk to, and regardless of sports, said this is one of the best Summer Pride programs we've had in multiple years. The kids were so excited, worked so hard. Let's see if that weight room training pays off right here, because that's what this was going to be.
Well, the whole world is thinking Givens will take it, and he does, and he gets in. Touchdown, Roughers. Had to wait for the signal there. Touchdown, Muskogee, and now a penalty marker comes down late, but it is a touchdown. James Hodge
got
Ford.
To be kidding me. Wow.
Are they going to call celebration here?
No, they're going to. The Sand Spring defender was in our backfield. Our kids run into the sideline. They run into each other. Our kid reaches out to try to hold him. The official from this sideline, when the Sand Springs coaches started screaming, he sees our kid with the hands extended and throws the flag.
It is a touchdown for the Roughers. Personal foul against Muskogee, as Brad described it.
Wow.
And that'll probably be, let's see if that's going to be assessed on the kickoff, probably. Or will it? No, they'll do it now. So it'll be a long, long extra point attempt for the Roughers here as the walk-off moves it back to the 18-yard line.
Nick, I'm going to promise you, I watched that whole thing transpire. And our kids running back to the sideline to celebrate. Their kid's in the backfield. He gets up off the ground to turn in, and they just run into each other. Our kid's got his hand extended because he's trying to keep the kid from falling down. Their coaches are yelling at the line judge over here, and you see the flag come flying from the sideline.
So the Roughers are going to call a timeout and kind of regroup here and see what they want to do now on the 4th and very long on this extra point attempt, or maybe extra points, depending on what they're going to end up doing. Ball is at the 18-yard line. 17-13 now. The score is the Roughers close the gap.
That's a big penalty. That takes a basically a sure thing extra point, making it a 3-point contest. Well, now the ball's back at what's it placed at, the 17. Yeah. So it's going to take it to a 35-yard extra point.
And that's what they're going to try to do here. Jaden Bell will hold. One Bear will try it, so this will be basically a 35-yard extra point attempt for the Roughers. Ready to go. See if One Bear's got the leg here for it. Bell moves back a yard or so. Now they kind of reset where the kick is and where the snap will be. Bell takes it, puts it down. Kick is on the way. It's got the foot, and it's good. Skylar One Bear hits the 35-yard extra point, and the Roughers close it to within 3. 42 seconds to play before halftime. It's now Sand Springs 17, Roughers 14. Back with a Muskogee kick in 60 seconds on Rougher TV.
JTK Imaging Services of Muskogee brings mobile digital imaging to you anytime, anywhere. JTK Imaging Services offers parents-to-be excitement and comfort of 3D and 4D ultrasound with ultrasound as low as $100. Services at JTK Imaging Services also include mobile digital ultrasound and x-ray anytime you need them. Discover the difference online at jtkimagingservices.com. JTK Imaging Services of Muskogee at 1631 North Main.
Tradition. It's a word that means a lot. Just as the tradition of the Muskogee Roughers requires commitment of great players and coaches, Lesher Millsap Funeral Home takes pride in providing great value and commitment every day with a tradition of service to the families of the Muskogee area. Just like in football, tradition must be earned on every play, every day, not just in the final score. And that's why you can trust Lesher Millsap Funeral Home to be there for you when it counts the most. Lesher Millsap Funeral Home, proud to be part of the Muskogee tradition of excellence.
So the Roughers drive at 66 yards in 12 plays to get to within 3. Here's One Bear's kick down the field, end over end line drive, hits short, Bounces up high, taken at the 18-yard line to the 20. Ruffers quickly down on coverage. Good kick coverage by Muskogee as they allow only a couple of yards on the return, and it'll be Sand Springs football, 1st and 10 at their own 20-yard line.
You know, that's one of those things that Coach Ryan Dvorak, the receivers, tight ends, special teams coordinator, like I know that he talks to those guys all the time about it. Said, I know you're excited. You get down there and tackle that, but you've got to stay in your lanes. And Ruffers did a good job right there, forcing the return. Like you said, ball spotted at the 20-yard line.
So Sandites come out. Let's see what they'll try here with 37 seconds to play in the half. Pennington with Blake Jones, the running back, on his left shoulder, or right shoulder. Pennington waits the snap, gets it, fakes a handoff, throws out in the flat, pass deflected out there. Devin Whitfield got his hands on that one, put it up in the air, and it's incomplete. And it'll be 2nd down and 10 for the Sandites. Runs a little bit of time off. Now 33 seconds to play before halftime.
You know, that's one of those things that you guys are watching, and I hope you can see it and pick it up on it. Just the body language. You know, you can tell a lot by the game and how it's going by just watching the body language. And the Rougher defense, their body language, they're bouncing around. They got a little pep in their step.
Pennington throws out in the flat and incomplete. Ruffers go high out there. Givens going high to try to get the interception. Couldn't get a hand on it, but it's overthrown. Incomplete at the 20. And remember, too, Ruffers will get the football to start the 3rd quarter, too. So a lot of momentum going for the Ruffers at this point after they score late. And now apparently are hopefully going to hold Sand Springs here. 29.8 seconds left to play in the half. 3rd down and 10 for the Sandites. Ball at their own 20-yard line. Pennington with Jones. 2 wide receivers left, 1 right for the Sandites. They hand the ball to Jones. Jones gets away from one man at the 20. The 25, Zapata has him by the shoulders and hauls him down at about the 26. Some 6 yards gain, but that'll still leave him 4 short. And it'll be 4th down and 4 for the Sandites. And it looks like they're just going to be content to let the clock run out on the first half, as we're now down to 6 seconds. No one moving to get a play off. So that will bring us to the end of the first half of action here at Memorial Stadium in Sand Springs. And at halftime, it's the Sand Springs Sandites 17, Muskogee Roughers 14. We'll be back with our halftime activities after this 3-minute timeout. You're watching Rougher TV.
I'm Gil McLaughlin.
I'm Brian Kirkhart.
Thanks, Muskogee. Your hometown mortgage team, Muskogee Mortgage, the McLaughlin team, is proud to be Muskogee's preferred mortgage company. We are extremely honored to serve you. Just like the Roughers have a game plan for victory, our daily game plan is to assist families to reach their financial goals. Thanks, Muskogee, and good luck, Roughers, on your drive to win in 2020.
Your new home isn't so far away with the help of Muskogee Mortgage, 3241 Chandler Road, Muskogee, and online at MuskogeeMortgage.com.
In times of need, it's comforting to see faces of people you know and trust. Cornerstone Funeral Home in Muskogee cherishes the opportunity to be there for you and your family in life's most challenging times when friends are most important. Cornerstone Funeral Home and Crematory welcomes the opportunity to answer any questions regarding planning and pre-arrangements for you and your loved ones. Experience the difference. Cornerstone Funeral Home, 1830 North York in Muskogee, where you'll find faces you know and reputations you trust.
New Silverados up to 15,000 in total savings. Hi, Jay Hodge, and it really is the best time to buy at the all-new Jay Hodge Chevrolet in Muskogee. Tell them, Rick.
Summer sale down of all new 2020s.
New Silverados up to 15,000 total savings.
Don't overpay, come see 15KJ.
New Silverados up to 15,000 total savings at the all-new Jay Hodge Chevrolet of Muskogee.
144 West Shawnee.
When you come home after a long day, Rivada Wireless Home Internet has you covered in your neighborhood or on your farm. For a limited time, our unlimited home internet has been discounted to only $49 per month with the purchase of a $99 router. And get this, the first 3 months of service is on us. So what are you waiting for? Make the switch today and visit us at bravadowireless.com for more info and to find a store near you. We are Bravado Wireless, and we believe in the
Pioneer Abstract, proudly serving residential and commercial customers throughout Muskogee County since 1905, serving banks, mortgage companies, and mortgage brokers with refinancing, purchase, 1031 tax-deferred exchanges, along with full escrow services and more. Pioneer Abstract offers the convenience of centralized services for escrow accounts, title insurance, and title searches. Pioneer Abstract, here yesterday, here today, and here tomorrow at 412 West Broadway in downtown Muskogee, or call.
We are what makes Oklahoma proud. We are mothers. We are coaches, counselors, and teachers. We are community. We are innovators in medical technologies. We are researchers developing breakthroughs to diagnose, treat, and cure diseases. We are everyday people. We are Northeastern Health Systems.
Nick Hampton and Brad Huddleston back with you here at Memorial Stadium in Sand Springs, where it's halftime, and the Sand Springs Sandites leading the Muskogee Roughers 17-14, as the Roughers really came back hard in that second quarter after Sand Springs kind of had their way offensively in the first quarter. And that's kind of the way it started, as the Sandites took the opening kickoff, started at their own 25-yard line, and methodically just marched the ball down the field, going 75 yards in 13 plays, a lot of little bubble screens and some running by Blake Jones. Pennington, who's done most of the running for the Sandites so far this year, really hasn't done that much running here in the first half. So they take it 75 yards in 13 plays. They eat up almost 5 minutes of that first quarter, and the extra point made it 7-0 in favor of the Sandites at that point. Roughers got the ball back, went 3 and out. Likewise for the Sandites on their next possession, they had some penalty problems, ended up going backwards on their possession. Got the ball, kicked the ball down to the Roughers, a good punt, and ended up at the 7-yard line being down, so the Roughers started in the hole, but put together probably their most impressive drive of the year, I think maybe, as they go 93 yards down the field. Great drive by Muskogee. A lot of yardage eaten up by Givens on that particular drive, as they took it, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 plays for the Roughers on that 93-yard drive. Givens doing a lot of the heavy running and lifting on that. Extra point was good with 29 seconds to play in the first quarter, and that tied the game at 7 apiece. Long pass play on that drive as well from Walker Newton to Jaden Bell for about 35 yards or so, that really helped kind of set things up for the Roughers in that drive. So I think if I remember, Givens had runs of 28 and 33 yards or something like that in that drive, and then the long pass. So the Roughers tie the game at 7. Sand Springs, though, comes right back with the ball. They start at their own 31-yard line following the kickoff. And again, they just kind of throttled it down the field, going 69 yards in 10 plays as they took it in. Jones going in for the 4-yard touchdown run. And the extra point made it 14-7 in favor of Sand Springs. The Roughers got the ball back. Another good drive by the Roughers. Can't say enough about the Rougher offense in this half so far, as they've had 3 real strong possessions. This one drive started at their own 41-yard line. They fumbled once. Tolbert fumbled the ball once, but the Roughers got it back at around the 40, and then they moved it down a couple of plays later. And Givens, running down the field, had some good yardage, but was hit from behind. He lost the ball, and Sand Springs recovered at their own 32-yard line to stop the Rougher drive. And from there, the Sandites, again down the field, 68 yards on this drive as they take it all the way down and get the touchdown on the run by Jones once again. And the extra point made it, they got it down to the 11-yard line, but then the Rougher defense strengthened, and the Sandites had to settle for a 28-yard field goal from Henlon. So with 4:32 to play in the half, that made it 17-7. Roughers got the kickoff back and again put together a real nice drive, starting at their own 34-yard line. They took it down 66 yards in 12 plays. Givens going over from 1 yard out with just 42 seconds to play in the half. And the extra point, on the extra point, the Roughers were penalized on the touchdown for a personal foul, which would be questionable, maybe controversial to some who watched the play. And I'm sure that Rafe Watkins will have some words about that when he's interviewed. But in any event, the Roughers penalized for a personal foul on the touchdown play, so they had to do the extra point kick from 35 yards out. But Skylar Onebear put it through to make it 17-14 with 42 seconds to play in the half. And the Sand Springs Sandites ran 3 plays, ran the timeout on the clock for halftime. So that's where we stand. 17-14, Sandites lead the Roughers here at Memorial Stadium at halftime. When we return, Superintendent Dr. Jared Mendenhall is going to talk a little bit about the 7th and 8th grade center in Muskogee and what's going on there. So that will be coming your way after this 2-minute timeout here on Rougher TV.
There's an old school way of doing business here at James Hodge Ford. Exceptional service, a firm handshake, and the best price around on a new Ford vehicle. Of course, don't forget our Hodge promise to you, our customer, that's stronger than oak. That's just a great way of doing business.
The James Hodge Ford promise. The best selection, the absolute best price, and service guaranteed. James Hodge Ford, 1200 North Main, Muskogee, online at hodgeford.com.
In sports, having the right winning strategy is often the difference between winning and losing. The same is true when you need legal representation. For more than 15 years, the law offices of Michael E. Finnerty have successfully provided the winning strategy with excellence and integrity for the people of the Muskogee area in matters of personal injury, social security disability, and workers' compensation issues. The law office, Muskogee trusts Michael A. Finnerty, ready to develop a winning strategy. Michael A. Finnerty, 436 Court Street in Muskogee. Call 687-1155. Online at finnertylaw.com.
Pain is temporary, pride is forever. At Excel Therapy, we want to be your athlete's advocate for excellence. We offer treatment methods that focus on strengthening muscles and improving flexibility to improve your overall performance. And when injury sets in, Excel Therapy can aid in the recovery process. We know it's important to get back in the game, so trust the comeback experts, Excel Physical Therapy and Sports Medicine. With 16 locations and no physician referral required, you can begin healing today. From setback to comeback, the name you can trust, Excel Physical Therapy and Sports Medicine. Look for us online at exceltherapyok.com.
There has never been a better time to buy than now. Drive a little, save a lot at Nissan of Muskogee Ultimate Used Car Sales Event. Save thousands now on all in-stock models. Come see us today at Nissan of Muskogee. Online at nissanofmuskogee.com. nissanofmuskogee.com. That's right, nissanofmuskogee.com. Use your cell phone, tablet, computer, we don't care. Just shop our huge selection of new and used online and then just pick, click, and drive. Why wait? It's that easy. Log on today at nissanofmuskogee.com.
I'm here at the 7th and 8th grade academy today to really recognize some students. Typically, we have always recognized the top 1% of each of the students at each one of the sites. Last year, because of the pandemic, we weren't able to do that. So what I'm doing is going to each one of the schools and really doing it on site. Today, we're at the 7th and 8th grade academy, and we actually were able to recognize about 10 students today. So very excited to have that opportunity. As you can tell, a lot of things are really in full swing in our school district right now, and very excited about some of the things that are going on. The 7th and 8th grade academy has really done a great job. They've put their students into different pods here at the 7th and 8th grade and really have done a great job of really teaching and learning. There are about 100 students that are e-learning students that are online. So the day was really good because we were able to recognize not only students that were in the school, but those that were actually in the e-learning academy. So you're going to see a little bit of footage of that today, and really excited to bring to you the information and the excitement at the 7th and 8th grade academy. Thank you. I wanted to bring in Ryan Buell, our principal here at the 7th and 8th grade academy. I want to talk a little bit about what's going on here. So Mr. Buell, tell us a little bit about the beginning of the year and what's been going on.
We've had a great beginning to this year, both our students in the e-learning academy and those that have chosen to come on site. We are running our team layout where every student has the same core 4 teachers as the rest of their team members. We've had a great start here, and we're very excited for what's coming.
Tell me a little bit about, has it really changed the dynamic of having e-learning students out of the building? I mean, is the building about the same as it's been, or do you notice a really change in the numbers of students and what's going on here?
Well, the car line's a little shorter.
Yeah, well, that's good. That's nice for definitely the parents.
But we are definitely missing those students, but at the same time, we are supporting them in any way we can. They're coming in for private tutorial sessions. We're doing Google Meets. So whatever way we can still connect with them, we are reaching out and supporting those students as well as those on site.
You know, you talked a little bit just briefly about the different groupings or how we've really put our students together. Tell me a little bit about the teaming model and how that works.
Sure. So the 7th grade students are divided into teams, as well as the 8th grade students. They're all in one area of the building for their core subjects. This helps both students and teachers. The students get familiar with the same 4 teachers in one smaller cohort.
Okay.
And then the teachers, it helps too, because they have the similar clientele. They're able to discuss and meet their needs. For some extracurricular activities, we do everything based on teams to help build that team spirit. Right now we have a competition going amongst the teams for displays in the pod. And it's a really kind of a nice, healthy competition and gives students an identity as to who they belong to in the school.
Well, that's great. So your 7th grade, you mentioned that they're in teams. 8th grade is doing the same thing. Do they change classes at the same time, or is it separately? How does that work?
Yeah, so all the students do change classes at the same time. A lot of times they're just going right next door.
Right.
But they do go outside the pods for electives. But yes, we do have a 3-minute passing period where students have a chance to go to their next class.
Now, on the electives, how do the elective courses work? So if you're in band, athletics, or maybe even another elective, how does that work within their teams?
Sure. So all the elective teachers are part of a team as well and communicate with that team leader. And so when they go out for their electives, the elective teachers talk to the team leaders to make sure that they are succeeding not just in their core classes, but in their 3 elective classes as well.
Well, this really kind of gives them a chance to really get to know not only the student, but the family. So what are we doing to really reach out to families?
Absolutely. Every day the teams have a time dedicated to student intervention and parent contact. We're reaching out, encouraging parent communication, and then helping in any way possible. We do have, although it looks a little different, parent conferences via Zoom for those students that have either done for both positive reasons and maybe for intervention purposes.
You know, this year's been so different. What would you say, because of the pandemic and the things that have occurred, do you feel like that you've really changed how you do business on a day-to-day basis?
Yes, I think we have to be more cognizant of who's not here.
Okay.
I think it would be easy to maybe not prioritize those e-learning academy students because we don't see them every day like the on-site students. But so we really have to, like last year, we have everybody in the hallways. This year we have to remember this is about 2/3 of our population. We have other students to serve, and so just remembering those students and prioritizing them as well.
Well, we really appreciate what you're doing. We know that you have come in, I think this is your 3rd year, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And you've truly transformed our junior high, our 7th and 8th grade. I know we've moved from Alice Robertson out to the 7th and 8th grade academy, and you've done a fabulous job of creating team, creating culture. So really appreciate the things that you have done as the principal and the leader. And I know that that's hard. I mean, you know, any type of transition like that is quite a feat. So what would you say is the biggest thing that you've been able to do since you've been here and leading that's probably changed everything that you've seen in the building?
Yeah, I think it's definitely empowering those around me. We have 6 team leaders, great administrative team around me, and really we've welcomed teachers. If you have an idea to think you can improve the school, let's let that grow. Let's hear that. Let's let that grow. And so really empowering others has helped. A lot of great ideas. The building has never looked better.
Yeah.
teachers really stepping up and saying, hey, why don't we do this? And it's really brought a lot of great programs on.
You know, I think when you collaborate with staff, the people that actually do the work every single day, you come up with a better plan. And so I always have appreciated your style of leadership and how you are so inclusive. So we appreciate that. You know, the benefit or the dividend that we get for this is a better environment, better culture for kids, and that's what we're all here to do. And every day is a great day to be a Rougher. Thank you.
That from Dr. Jared Mendenhall talking about the 7th and 8th grade center at Muskogee. We're here at Memorial Stadium in Sand Springs where it's halftime, and the Sand Springs Sandites leading the Roughers 17-14. After this break, we'll come back, take a look at the stats in the first half, and catch you up some scores around the area when we return after this 2-minute timeout here on Rougher TV.
JTK Imaging Services of Muskogee brings mobile digital imaging to you anytime, anywhere. JTK Imaging Services offers parents-to-be excitement and comfort of 3D and 4D ultrasound with ultrasound as low as $100. Services at JTK Imaging Services also include mobile digital ultrasound and x-ray anytime you need them. Discover the difference online at jtkimagingservices.com. JTK Imaging Services of Muskogee at 1631 North Main.
Tradition. It's a word that means a lot. Just as the tradition of the Muskogee Roughers requires commitment of great players and coaches, Lesher Millsap Funeral Home takes pride in providing great value and commitment every day with a tradition of service to the families of the Muskogee area. Just like in football, tradition must be earned on every play, every day, not just in the final score. And that's why you can trust Lesher Millsap Funeral Home to be there for you when it counts the most. Lesher Millsap Funeral Home, proud to be part of the Muskogee tradition of excellence.
The Muskogee Athletic Department would like to recognize its proud Rougher Athletics sponsors: Armstrong Bank, Oklahoma Army National Guard, Arvest Bank, Chick-fil-A Muskogee, Neighbors Building Neighborhoods, St. Francis Muskogee, Tommy Nix Auto Group, Springs Skilled Nursing and Therapy. Go Roughers!
Nick Hampton, Brad Huddleston back with you at Sand Springs, where the Sandites lead at halftime 17-14 as the team's returning to the field to do their warm-ups. Let's take a look at the stats in this first half, Brad.
You know, we were talking at the half, and we said, you know, barring the one fumble that Givens had on that drive in the second quarter, this is exactly how the Rougher coaches would have drawn this contest up. You know, you look at the plays offensively for Sand Springs, they had 34 plays in the first half, 12 first downs, 113 yards through on the ground, 103 through the air for total offense of 216. They had one penalty, and it only netted them 3 yards. Leading the way for the Sandites on the ground was Jones. He had 8 carries for 62 yards. Pennington, you know, we said that their offense is going to go as he goes. He was 11 of 16 for 103 in the first half, but he did miss on his last 4 completions, and that kind of gave the Roughers a little bit of life. You know, the Roughers, like I said, offensively, they had 29 plays, 11 first downs. You know, rushing the ball, that's a, you know, they're going to say that's a fundamental core principle of any Rafe Watkins football team. You know, they tell you that we've got to be able to win or run the ball to win the game. So they had 145 yards collectively on the ground in the first half. Newton did a great job. You felt like his feet started to get underneath him. The game started to slow down. Things became a little easier. He was only 2 of 5, but those 2 of 5 were for 47 yards, and one of those being the big 43-yard completion to Jaden Bell. You know, the penalties, Roughers did have 2 penalties, one of those being that at what we thought was going to be a big 15-yard personal foul penalty after the touchdown, but, you know, the strong leg of One Bear bailed the Roughers out, and we're sitting with a 3-point deficit at the half, and the Roughers get the ball to start the second half.
You can talk about the penalty. The other big one was on the Sand Springs drive where the Roughers were penalized half the distance. Sand Springs was down there and might have gotten it in anyway, but the Sandites took advantage of the penalty, got a new set of downs, and were able to go in for the end zone. So the Roughers don't have a lot of penalties, but the few they've had have been kind of costly so far. It's a night of football action around the state. Perhaps one of the best matchups tonight is a COVID-style matchup as Bixby and Carl Albert, who are perennial champions in their respective classes, ended up playing each other tonight because their opponents were all COVIDed out, and so they've ended up playing, and Bixby's ahead in that game. You got a few scores there from the 6A.
Yeah,
division.
you know what I like about that is those are two teams that are perennial powerhouses, and they've kind of got that mindset of, you know, a lot of teams sometimes will be like, hey, I don't know what we're going to do. They both said, hey, let's play. Bixby's number 1 in 6A, 2. Carl Albert's right there in 5A. They just said on a short week, not a lot of time to prepare. Let's just put the ball on the ground and let's go get it. Looking at some of the scores, you know, Booker T. Washington leads Bartlesville 27-0.
Bruins will be our opponent next week, by the way.
Absolutely. And, you know what's turned into a ball game that a lot of people will understand. 6A1, number 1 ranked Owasso Rams. They only lead the Norman North Timberwolves 13-7 at the half. And in, you know, you don't ever want to call BA Jinx a shocker, but Jinx has been really playing well. But Broken Arrow, if it wasn't for a late touchdown by the Trojans in the second quarter, Broken Arrow leads 17-7. And like I said, the Trojans actually scored, you know, inside 5 minutes left in the first half to bring that contest to a 17-7. So that's quite a ball game going on. And it's just, you know, it's one of those things. It's kind of how the year's gone, but it's been a great night. It's a great night for high school football, and the kids are just happy to play, and that's going to create tough, close contests regardless of where we tee it up.
Other scores in 4A tonight. Broken Bow leading Hilldale 27-13. Wagner ahead of Bristow 14-7. Fort Gibson easily on top of Stillwell at halftime by a score of 27-13. As Brad mentioned, the Roughers get the football to start this third quarter. So let's see what happens. The Roughers, as we said, looked good, I thought, on offense. They did some things well on offense. As you mentioned, Walker Newton seemed to kind of find himself. Isaiah Gibbons had a big first half. Now if the defense can find a way to stop the black-shirted Sandites on that side of the ball, we'll see what happens. Here's the kickoff, and the Roughers will take the very short pooch kick. Hits on the ground. It's a free ball. Sand Springs comes up with it inside the 30-yard line. Oh, no. The Roughers just let that short pooch kick hit, took a high bounce, and the Sandites recover at the 30. Wow.
Yeah, that's one of those things that a lot of times they tell you, you know, on a kickoff return, don't go backwards and catch it. But, you know, Muskogee, I guess they kind of thought we're going to pass it off to the guy in front of them, and the guys behind thought that guy's going to turn around and pick it up. That ball bounced straight up in the air. Sand Springs was able to pick it up, and now they're in business first and 10 on their half of right at the 30-yard line.
So that'll go down as a turnover by the Roughers. First down as Pennington calls it from the Rougher 30, fakes the handoff, throws a slant behind his intended receiver, and it's incomplete. Tried to hit Blevins with the pass at around the 25, but they threw it behind him. He's had problems with that slant pass just about every time he's tried to throw it. He's thrown it behind his intended receiver tonight.
Yeah, and that could be a multitude of things. That could be Pennington's on, you know, those are on a cadence like a step, boom, 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 and then maybe the receiver doesn't get off coverage quick enough, and that throws the timing of that whole route off.
2nd and 10. Pennington with the snap, looks, throws the deep sideline pattern down there, and it's incomplete. Roughers almost able to pick that off. The intended receiver did a good job of playing defensive back there and knocking the ball away from the Rougher defender on the play.
I can guarantee that's going to bring a smile to Coach Mays' face.
I think that's Jaden Bell back there. I can't say exactly who that was. Whoever it was did a good job, though, as he had the play well covered, and the would-be receiver had to wrap him up to keep it from being intercepted. 3rd and 10 for the Sandites now at their own 30 as they try to take advantage of the Rougher miscue on the kickoff. Pennington ready with Jones, the running back, to his right side. Takes a snap, fakes to Jones, wants to pass. Now he's going to scramble at the 30, at the 25, and he's going to be wrapped up just short of the first down at around the 22. So it'll be an 8-yard gain for Pennington, but it brings up a decision for Bobby Klink here on 4th down and 2. Don't think there'll be much question. I wouldn't think, at least, Brad, that they'll go for it.
Not knowing Coach Klink's personality, especially, you know, he played running back and he was a defensive standout in college, but just that he brings that tough mindset, that energy. And this is an energy play because this is a big ball. This is a big play in the second half. I know it's early, but it kind of sets the tone for how this contest is going to go.
Ruffers jump offside, and that's going to cost them. Ruffers were out there, and Muskogee jumped the count a little bit. Deshaun Smith, who was out there trying to get a step up, jumped over the line of scrimmage, and that moves it down to the 17, and it'll be a first down for the Sandites. So big penalty there. Now that will change the play, obviously, for the Sandites as they try to capitalize on this Muskogee miscue. Pennington ready with Jones on his right. Hands the ball off to Jones. Jones goes outside, and the Ruffers do a good job of hauling him down. And again, Devin Whitfield, who's done a great job at defensive end, comes actually kind of across the field and makes that play from behind. And they holler him down right at the line of scrimmage. It looks like 17, so no gain on the play.
What a wonderful job by that whole Rougher defensive front. That's exactly what Coach Hill preached. You know, gap. You stay in your gaps and keep that guy there. Keep Pennington in the pocket and let those linebackers and let those DNs come in and wrap them up.
2nd and 10 for the Sandites. Pennington snaps, takes the snap, throws the slant again. Ruffers with good defense out there make the hit, and it was Payne again, or it was looking to see who that was. Making a good hit, Deshaun Smith. Trying to find him there. Making a good hit on that corner out there, knocking the ball away. And again, great coverage by Smith out there. And it'll be 3rd and 10 for the Sandites at the 17. So after the Ruffers gave him the first down with a penalty, Rougher defense has buckled up here and kept the Sandites from getting anything on the first 2 downs of this series. Long count, clock running down to 5 now for the Sandites. Pennington fakes the handoff, rolls to his left, throws a little flare pass. Ruffers have it. Oh, the receiver gets away, though. He'll be down around the 10. He's going to be a little short of the first down, however. Ruffers had him back at around the 12-yard line, but the receiver on the play, I think that was Campbell, making the catch out there and getting to the 9. So it'll be 4th down and 2. Once again, a short yardage situation, and once again, the Sandites ready to go for it, wanting to get it into the end zone. Pennington ready. Fakes the handoff, keeps it himself. He's down to the 5, and he'll have the first down. Pennington faked the belly play right up the middle to Jones, kept it himself, went outside tackle, gets about 3 or 4 down to the 5, and it'll be 1st and goal for the Sandites.
Yeah, that's one of those things that Jones has been so strong on the inside, and Pennington read it. You know, those D tackles kind of crashed down, expecting that run up the middle off tackle. Pennington took the keeper and took a gain of 4 or 5 yards, and it's 1st and goal, Sand Springs.
From the 5-yard line, Pennington calls the count, fakes the handoff, rolls back, throws out in the flat, complete at the 5, and down and around the 1-yard line. Saving a touchdown out there, Seneca Collins with the tackle. And it was Shoemaker making the catch. Got loose, got down to the 1. And it'll be 2nd and goal for the Sandites at the 1-yard line. Pennington up under center this time, takes it barrel straight ahead on the keeper, and he's got it. Pennington with the 1-yard touchdown run for the Sandites. And that gives the Sand Springs team a little more comfort on their lead. Goes from, now it's 23 to 14 with the extra point attempt to come by Hennon. So Sand Springs takes advantage of the Muskogee error on the kickoff and goes 30 yards for the touchdown. Hennon's kick is on the way. It's up and good. Timeout with 8:52 to play in the 3rd quarter. It's now Sand Springs up again by 10, 24-14, back in 60 seconds on Rougher TV.
In times of need, it's comforting to see faces of people you know and trust. Cornerstone Funeral Home in Muskogee cherishes the opportunity to be there for you and your family in life's most challenging times when friends are most important. Cornerstone Funeral Home and Crematory welcomes the opportunity to answer any questions regarding planning and pre-arrangements for you and your loved ones. Experience the difference. Cornerstone Funeral Home, 1830 North York in Muskogee, where you'll find faces you know and reputations you trust.
New Silverados up to $15,000 in total savings. Hi, Jay Hodge, and it really is the best time to buy at the all-new Jay Hodge Chevrolet in Muskogee. Tell them, Rick.
Summer sale down of all new 2020s.
New Silverados up to 15,000 total savings.
Don't overpay, come see 15KJ.
New Silverados up to 15,000 total savings at the all-new J. Hodge Chevrolet of Muskogee.
144 West Shawnee.
Back with you now as they get back quickly. Kickoff comes short. Raheem Payne takes it at about the 32 and gets it back up to the 37 as the Sandites didn't want to give Jaden Bell an opportunity to return it. So Raheem Payne gets it back, and the Roughers will start in business 1st and 10, spotting it at the 33 or 38-yard line.
Probably the Roughers' best starting field position of the evening. Got the ball on the 38-yard line. It's just time to, they've done it all night. It's just time to, let's answer it. Let's go play football.
Givens, the running back, along with Walker Newton, who's calling the signals, takes it, hands off to Givens, jukes a little bit, breaks a couple of tackles at the 40, at the 45, and pulls his way up close to midfield. Nice run by Givens, and I think he'll have enough for the first down. Yes, it is. Another J. Hodge Chevrolet Cadillac Muskogee Rougher 1st and 10, spotted at the 48-yard line of the Roughers. Exactly 10 yards on the carry by Givens.
You can see with each carry, not just Givens gaining confidence, but that whole offensive line. Those guys, what's Coach Watkins call them?
Mush hogs.
Mush hogs. Yeah. Allen Hill, Wendell Johnson, James Moore, freshman Vernon Pepiakata, Keenan Adams.
Givens gets the carry again across the 50 and into Sand Springs territory at the 48. So from 148 to the other, 4 yards picked up. 2nd and 6 for the Roughers. Muskogee up quickly now, this time to the line of scrimmage. A diamond shape set for the receivers. Pass out in the flats, complete. And breaks one tackle. Not getting out of the second one, though, and the Roughers will get about 2 yards on it. A little diamond formation with 4 wide receivers out there that time. The Roughers threw it out there, and I think that was Givens, actually, who ended up receiving the pass and getting about 2 yards. Now, maybe just 1, they say, to the 47. So 3rd down facing Muskogee. 3rd down and 5 for the Roughers at the 47. 7.5 to play here in the 3rd quarter. Sand Springs leading 24-14. District opener for the Roughers, 2nd district game of the year for the Sandites. Newton takes a snap, looks, now he's going to keep it, and he's going to be dropped for a little bit of a loss on this play. A little bit of hesitation by Walker Newton there, and he wasn't quite sure what he wanted to do. And when you hesitate, you lose at that quarterback spot, and he'll lose only about a yard, well, maybe 2 back to the 49, let's say. So,
yeah, but you could tell that was a defensive adjustment from Coach Klink and his staff over here. They told those linebackers, they said, hey, let our DBs cover them one-on-one. Somebody's got to stay home. Somebody's got to keep an eye on that quarterback. Because that's where Newton had kind of gashed them in the first half, as those linebackers would drop, and there was a hole, and right there they did a great job and just kind of brought Newton down in his tracks.
4th and 7, so the Roughers will have to punt it. Zapata back, gets a snap. Kicks down the field, hits at around the 15, fielded by the Sandites, and the Roughers with good coverage over there. One of them had a hold of the leg of the returner and wouldn't let go, and then he got some help from teammates. So it'll be at the 21 for the Sandites. 2nd possession of the half, they went 30 yards after the Roughers muffed a little poof kick. If I can get the words out, pooch kick, to open the 3rd quarter. The Roughers muffed it, and Sand Springs recovered, took it 30 yards in 10 plays for their score here in the 2nd half.
Even that possession, it was kind of one of those things that it's kind of been the Achilles heel of the Roughers all season, is they've been in position to make tackles, and when it just comes down to that one-on-one, my guy's got to make the stop. We just haven't been able to do it.
Pennington takes it, hands off to Jones, sweeps the left side, has a little room out there across the 25, up near the 27 or 8-yard line goes Jones as he gets out there and will get to the 27. 6 yards gained up by Blake Jones. 2nd down and 4 for the Sandites. 6:19 to play here in the 3rd quarter. 24-14, Sandites lead it. twin wide receivers to either side for the Sandites. Jones takes it, rolls to his right, throws in the flat, wide open across the 30-35 and out of bounds near the 40-yard line. Coming out of the backfield that time, I think, was Shoemaker again, and comes out there and makes the reception and then gets up the field to the 40, right at the 40, so a 13-yard gain and a first down for the Sandites. They just mixed the plays up really well and have kept the Rougher defense kind of on their heels all night long.
And that offensive play call for Sandites doing a good job. Rougher's been in a blitz both times that they've kind of been burned on that same little pass play.
Here's a pass out in the flat by Pennington, complete at the 50, at the 40. And this is Campbell at the 30, 25, 20, 15, 10, 5, and he's going to take it all the way. Caden Campbell with the reception, and that's a 60-yard pass and catch from Pennington to Campbell, and that'll open the Sandite lead now back into more double figures. Campbell, who's been the leading receiver, has been relatively quiet tonight, but he gets 60 on that catch. And with 6 minutes to play, the Sandites will try to tack on the extra point to make it 31-14. Hennon with the extra point attempt coming. Ball is down, kicks on the way, it's up, and it's good. 6 minutes exactly to play in the third quarter. Sand Springs now 31 and the Roughers 14. Back with the Sandites kickoff in 30 seconds here on Rougher TV.
When you come home after a long day, Bravado Wireless Home Internet has you covered in your neighborhood or on your farm. For a limited time, our unlimited home internet has been discounted to only $49 per month with the purchase of a $99 router. And get this, the first 3 months of service is on us. So what are you waiting for? Make the switch today and visit us at bravadowireless.com for more info and to find a store near you. We are Bravado Wireless, and we believe in the power of connection.
So the Sandites take it the length of the field, 79 yards in just 3 plays, 60 of it on the pass from Pennington to Campbell to make it 31-14. Not much change in other area scores that we gave you. In 4A, still have Wagner leading Bristow 21-7. Hilldale trailing Broken Bow 27-13 now in the third quarter. Also in the third quarter, Fort Gibson over Stillwell 27-13. Hennon now ready for the kickoff for the Sandites as they stretch their lead now to 17 after the touchdown. 2 possessions and 2 scores for the Sandites here in the third quarter. Here's the short kick, and it'll be taken to the 23-yard line by Payne again, and across the 30 to the 32. So again, the Roughers get relatively good field position, starting at their own 32-yard line. Trailing, though, last possession, the Roughers got 1 first down as they started at their own 38, got it up to midfield before they ran out of downs and had to punt it away. So at the 32, the Roughers will go offensively to see what they can get going here in this third quarter. See, we have some time to, as the Roughers over on the sideline kind of talking things over. See if we can update some scores from 6A2. Bixby still on top of Carl Albert, 21-7. Booker T shutting out Bartlesville, who will be the Roughers' opponent at home for senior night next Friday night at Indian Bowl, 27-0. Tolbert, the running back, faked handoff to him, pass complete to Zapata. Zapata around the 40 and then run right out of bounds. He gets 8 yards on the play, though, after the fake to Tolbert. And Walker Newton with a nice pass out, gets it to Zapata, and he'll get 8 yards, almost 9. We'll spot it at the 41. So 9 yards makes it a short 2nd down and 1 for the Roughers.
Great read by Newton right there. And Zapata was able to just kind of run that little short route, sit down, find a hole in the defense, take what they give you.
Tolbert, the ball carrier, gets it, and he'll get about half of it. He gets about a half a yard, but he's still going to be short. So we'll call it no gain officially, and it'll be 3rd down and a yard for the Roughers, still just about at the 41-yard line. Muskogee trying to find a way to keep this series alive with the first down here.
Yeah, you get the idea the coaching staff could have a little extra time before we started that last drive, and they said, hey, settle down. Let's just do what we do.
Hand it off to Tolbert, and he's dumped in the backfield. Nothing there for Brandon Tolbert as he was wrapped up in the backfield, and he'll lose back to the 37, a 4-yard loss. And that'll make it 4th and long, and the Roughers will be forced to punt it away, or presumably they will have to punt it away, we would think. 4th down is 4th and 5. Let's see if Rafe Watkins looks like he's going to gamble, go for it. And they break, come up to the line of scrimmage. I think Gibbons is back in now at the running back spot. Newton wants to throw. Throws complete. First down for the Roughers. It's Payne with the ball at midfield, and he's tackled in Sand Springs territory. Raheem Payne gets the reception from Walker Newton, and he'll take it from the 37 to the Sand Springs 49-yard line, 14 yards, and more importantly, another J. Hodge Chevrolet Cadillac Muskogee Rougher 1st and 10.
Yeah, great throw by Newton right there, and a great route by the two guys on the outside, Zapata and Payne. Payne's one of those guys you just got to feel like if our offense is going to grow and get better as the season goes on, he's a guy I think we got to find a way to get the ball in his hands.
Fake handoff. Newton throws again, complete. I think it's Payne again over there on the far side. Makes the reception and is inside the 45.
Jaden Bell.
Or Jaden Bell make it. So Bell gets from the 49 down to the 43, 6 yards picked up. And the Roughers again moving those chains, and you get a second and short. You got a lot of different options here.
Yeah, correction. That last Zapata was on the last catch. My apologies.
Bell and Payne out to the left, Zapata out to the right. As Newton takes it, keeps it, and he's going to be dragged down in the backfield. Blitzing linebacker would have none of that, and Walker Newton trying to run the little fake and keep it on the naked bootleg, basically, and he's dumped for a loss back at the 48. That's a 5-yard loss. Makes it 3rd down now for the Roughers. 3rd and about 10, almost 11. Or I make it 10, just a little short of 10. Big play here for Muskogee. Clocked at 3 minutes left to play here in the 3rd quarter.
The Roughers have done a good job in this position all evening, just trying to find a way to answer.
Fake handoff to Tolbert. Newton throwing down the field. Has a man open at the 20. Still going at the 15. At the 10. That's Zapata, and he's down around the 6-yard line or 7.
42 yards.
Antonio Zapata. Newton with a nice fake on the play action pass, and they'll drop him at the 7-yard line. And as Brad said, 41 yards on the play, and a 1st and goal for the Roughers at the 7.
He's another one of those guys that he's just a gamer. He's an athlete. He's a standout on the baseball field. You know, that's probably where he's going to go to college and play athletically. He's in the baseball field. But that's his 3rd catch for 105 yards. He had a great game last week. Let's like to see the Roughers catch in right here.
Bell and Zapata out to the right. Newton hands off to Gibbons. Gibbons breaks one tackle and manages to fall forward maybe for a yard to the 6, we'll say. So Gibbons gets one from the 7 to the 6. 2nd and goal for the Roughers as we near the 2-minute mark to play in the quarter. 31-14. Sand Springs with the lead over the Roughers. Newton looks over to the sideline, gets the play. They break the huddle. Again, Zapata and Bell over to the right side as the only wide receivers. Hand off to Gibbons. Breaks one tackle, fumbles the ball, and I think the Sandites have it. 2nd fumble tonight by Isaiah Gibbons. And both were costly, and the Roughers looked like they were driving for the touchdown, and Isaiah Gibbons fumbles. Sandites recover it, and they'll take over at their own 9-yard line. Wow.
The Roughers offense was rolling right there, and that was kind of the idea that they have, keep the ball on the ground, dink and dunk, let's get 1st downs, keep the clock running, stay in the ball game. And Gibbons, bless his heart, he's had such a great night, but just a costly fumble right there.
2nd fumble of the night by Gibbons. Stops a possible touchdown drive there. So now the Sandites take over at their own 8, 1st and 10. Pennington ready to call signals with Jones on his right shoulder. And here comes the end around. Roughers have it diagnosed well, and they'll stop it down, drag it down for a loss on the play. And again, Devin Whitfield, the defensive end, coming all the way across the field, stops the Cisco, the sweeping right side end, and they'll drop him for a loss back to the 6. So that's a 2-yard loss. 2nd and 12 for the Sandites at their own 6-yard line. They're starting to run the play clock now just a little bit more. Pennington standing in his own end zone on this play. Takes it, fakes the handoff in the end zone under pressure, throws, complete, nice catch, and around the 11 or 12 by Shoemaker as he made a diving catch. That'll be a 5-yard gain out to the 11, but more importantly for Sand Springs, gets them out of the shadow of their own goal line.
That's one of those you'd like to have about a half second more, because if that had been the case, we would have had Pennington down in the end zone.
3rd and 7 for the Sandites. They have it at their own 11-yard line. Inside a minute to play in the 3rd quarter. 31-14 in favor of Sand Springs as Pennington calls the count. Jones on his shoulder, fakes the handoff, throws the slant, and it's incomplete. I think his arm was hit just as he threw that, and pass bounces incomplete. So the Roughers hold Sand Springs, and they'll force a punt. I think the first punt tonight, actually, for the Sandites, as Hennon will go back and will punt from his own end zone. So the Roughers ought to get pretty good field position out of this when it's all said and done. Jaden Bell back at around his own 45-yard line or so.
You know, and that just shows some of the winning mentality that the Roughers have. Like I said, you get a heartbreaking turnover as you're going in to score, and a lot of times it would have been real easy just for the defense to kind of hang their heads. But, you know, I know that that's been a point of emphasis with coaches too, is body language. You know, keep your head up. Just keep making the play. Keep fighting. Rougher defense did a great job for a 3-and-out right there, and now Bell fair catches the ball at the 40-yard line, so Muskogee's got the ball in plus territory.
They've done a pretty good job of moving it on this last possession. Moved it from their own 32 all the way down to the Sand Springs 6 before the Givens fumble. And we have an injured player down on the field for the Roughers. So while they tend to him, let's take this 30-second timeout. We'll be back. 31-14 Sand Springs leads here on Rougher TV.
Pioneer Abstract, proudly serving residential and commercial customers throughout Muskogee County since 1905, serving banks, mortgage companies, and mortgage brokers with refinancing, purchase, 1031 tax-deferred exchanges, along with full escrow services and more. Pioneer Abstract offers the convenience of centralized services for escrow accounts, title insurance, and title searches. Pioneer Abstract, here yesterday, here today, and here tomorrow at 412 West Broadway in downtown Muskogee, or call Pioneer Abstract at 683-2904.
Looks like Keandre Johns may be the player down on the field for the Roughers. While they tend to him, let's check some more scores. Bixby now opening up on Carl Albert 35-7 with 6 minutes to play in the 3rd quarter. District 2 game tonight, Ponca City and Choctaw. The Yellow Jackets having some problems with Ponca City, 20-14. Choctaw with a short lead there.
Sorry.
Excuse me.
No, Choctaw took a tough break with their TCU commit. The wide receiver, the athlete getting hurt week 1 or week 2, you know, but they're still going to be a force in 6A too, because I know those guys, they come in with that winning championship mindset, and you know, that's one of the things that you like about 6A2 football is it seems night in, night out. It's going to be a dogfight for sure.
Other scores: Stillwater and Del City, a pair of top 5 rated teams in 6A2. 41-20, Stillwater having a pretty easy time of that in the 3rd quarter. Booker T still blanking Bartlesville 27-0. And let's see what else we can find here. And we'll go to 6A1 and see what kind of scores we find there. Moore and Edmond North tied at 7 apiece. Owasso, not a big lead, 19-7 over Norman North. And Broken Arrow still leading Jenks 24-17 at halftime. That's, I think, the score we gave you before. Now Keandre Johns up off, and they'll help him off the field. And so he gingerly walks off for the Roughers. Check some of the smaller class schools and see what we can find here. 3A scores. Stigler and Chakotah, 3rd quarter. Panthers lead by only 2, 28-26 over the Wildcats. Stigler coming in undefeated in that game.
And a pretty potent offense, putting up lots of numbers. all season long. So, but you know, that's one of those things that those two schools are close enough that a lot of those kids know each other. So anytime Stigler and Chakotah meet up, it's going to be a battle.
Here we go, long pass down the field. Walker Eaton.
Oh, got to throw the flag.
Walker Eaton was dragged down and he got away somehow to get that pass off. And then, yeah, that looked like
their DB had two hands on our guy and brought him down. But that's, well, with that, I'm going to be, that's kind of been the way of the evening. We'll just leave it at that.
2nd to 10 for the Roughers at the 40-yard line. Newton very lucky to get that pass off as he was under some pressure and still managed to find a way to get it down the field in the vicinity. Takes it, hands the ball off to Tolbert. Tolbert, the running back, gets to the line of scrimmage, and then a host of the Sandites meet him there and drive him back. So there'll be no gain on that play, and it'll be 3rd and 10 for the Roughers.
It'll probably be the end of the 3rd quarter here.
Clock inside 10 seconds, and that is the end of 3. So at the end of the 3rd quarter, 31-14, Sand Springs leads. Back with the 4th quarter in 60 seconds on Rougher TV and Okie Country 101.7.
Pioneer Abstract, proudly serving residential and commercial customers throughout Muskogee County since 1905, serving banks, mortgage companies, and mortgage brokers with refinancing, purchase, 1031 tax-deferred exchanges, along with full escrow services and more. Pioneer Abstract offers the convenience of centralized services for escrow accounts, title insurance, and title searches. Pioneer Abstract, here yesterday, here today, and here tomorrow at 412 West Broadway in downtown Muskogee, or call Pioneer Abstract at 683-2904.
We are what makes Oklahoma proud. We are mothers. We are coaches, counselors, and teachers. We are community. We are innovators in medical technologies. We are researchers developing breakthroughs to diagnose, treat, and cure diseases. We are everyday people. We are Northeastern Health Systems.
Back with you at Memorial Stadium in Sand Springs, Charles Page High School, where the Roughers trail Sand Springs 31-14. Looking for a place to have a weekend meal and take everyone out to My Place Barbecue on the west side, where you can eat ribs. Great low price. Get out there and give it a try.
Fridays and Saturday nights, load me up, fries and beans. Let's go.
Make My Place your place. Ready to go for the Roughers, 3rd and 10, and as the snap occurs, we have laundry and a procedure call against the Roughers. So that'll move the ball back to the 35 and make it 3rd and 15 for the Roughers.
You know, Roughers, penalty-wise, have done a pretty good job, knock on wood, today. That's only their 4th penalty for 30 yards, but, you know, hey, Sand Springs, they've got 1 penalty tonight, and it netted them 3 yards. So been a pretty clean game in that aspect. You know, right now, to me, the difference in the ball game is 2 turnovers.
I think I said 35. It's at the 45-yard line, 3rd and 15. Newton looks, throws a pass to Despada, complete at the 40, but that's about all he's going to get. He'll get the 5 yards back that the Roughers lost on the penalty, but that'll be it as the Sandite defensive backs close quickly and shut him down. Sango Whitehorn, the defensive end, leading the charge for the Sandites. Spot him actually at the 39, so we'll give him 6 yards on that. 4th down and 9 for the Roughers. Obviously a big play here in this game early in the 4th quarter as the Roughers will go for it, sending Bell and Payne out to the far side, left side of the field. Zapata lined up over on the right. Tight formation. Newton takes the pass, goes back to pass, looks, gets away from one man but not the second. Actually ran into his own man, I think, trying to get loose out there and shake things around.
Looks like he ran into Keenan Adams.
Yep, Keenan Adams trying to protect him, and Newton Walker kind of ran into him, and he'll lose back across the 40 to the 40, well, where are they going to put the football? 43? So,
you know, it's a shame because if he's able to beat that, there was some room to run. You know, the receivers had ran deep routes, so the DBs and the linebackers were both out. The defensive line had kind of pressed, and there was a gap up the middle. If he was able to sidestep there who knows what we're talking about right now.
Sandites take over on down, start at their own 43-yard line, leading 31-14. Here's the end around to Cisco again, and the Roughers do a good job of knocking this down.
Oh, ball came loose.
The ball came loose, but the official rules him down. Tackles on the play by Malik Whitfield.
Yeah, Malachi's he's done a good job. Our DNs have definitely played sound. They've listened to coaching. They've done exactly what they've wanted to. They've set that edge and chased hard and made tackles.
Lost 2 on that play. So 2nd down and 12 for the Sandites at their 41. Pennington ready as he takes the snap, drops straight back, looks to his right, throws complete at the 45, and then dropped around the 43. Ball again falls loose, but I think they're going to rule him down. That'll be a 1st down for the Sandites. No, they give it to the Roughers. All right. Muskogee gets the football. I'm not sure who came up with it. The ball fell loose very late in the play, and the Roughers will get that. That's the first turnover by Sand Springs tonight, and the Roughers will have it at the 42-yard line.
Yeah, a great break, and it's good job defensively. I know Coach Mays and those DB coaches, they teach, don't just make the tackle. Hit that football. Let's try to make a turnover.
I know Hunter Hess was jumping around over there. I don't know if he's the one who recovered that fumble or not. But in any event, it's at the 42, and the Roughers offense needs to find some answers here.
Like the matchup with Zapata right.
And they hand the ball off to Tolbert, and he goes nowhere. Brandon Tolbert getting the carry, and he's dumped for a loss, and he's a little slow to get up on this one. Drops him back at the 39-yard line, a 3-yard loss on the play.
Yeah, Tolbert's kind of had a rough evening. That's his 7th carry for -4 yards.
Isaiah Gibbons, I know they didn't want to totally exhaust him on offense because he plays on both sides of the ball, so they've given Tolbert some reps here, but he hadn't been able to get much done.
He's ran well, don't get me wrong. He just kind of having an off night.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that style fits, kind of the defensive run. Tolbert's more the ground and pound, muscle, punch you in the mouth kind of kid.
2nd and 13. Newton back to pass, throws for Zapata, incomplete. Ball floated just a little bit, and it gave the Sand Springs defenders just enough time to get over there and really kind of double team Zapata and knock the ball away and make it 3rd down and 13. Ball at the Rougher 39-yard line, 9:40 to play in the game. 31-14. Sand Springs leads in this one. Roughers need the victory here. This stretch of games here the next week or 10 days can be vital for the Roughers to win at least 2, and they'd like to win all 3. Newton back to pass, looks, was one man, and then slipped him down. Was that Gibbons out there?
Penalty flag. Looks like it's probably going to be a hold.
TK Thompson was the intended receiver. And just as he went to get the ball, he slipped down, and it is a holding penalty against the Roughers.
Sandi's going to.
They'll decline this, I'm sure,
one.
and bring up 4th down and 13. And the Roughers will have to punt the ball away.
TK Thompson, I don't know how you're around that kid and don't have a smile on your face. He's just one of those kids. He's always got a smile. He goes hard. He works hard. You got to love that kid. And I know the coaches do. He's one of those guys that doesn't matter what position they put him in. You know that he's going to go out and give you 110.
Zapata now back to punt for the Roughers. On 4th and long, snaps a little low, but he does a good job to get it. Fair catch called for by the Sandites and taken at the 39-yard line. Little temper tantrums there right at the catch. They put it right on the 40. So 1st and 10 for the Sandites. Roughers managed to get him to turn the ball over last time. Let's see if they can do it again. Sand Springs has had the ball 4 times and have a pair of touchdowns. This will be the 4th time, and a fumble. So 1st and 10 as Pennington and Jones line up in the backfield. Twin wide receivers to the right side for Pennington. Takes the snap, Fakes the handoff, keeps it, rolls to his right, looks, throws in the flat, complete at midfield at the 45 to Shoemaker, 40, 35, and down to the 33-yard line.
There's a penalty flag on the play, and this is something that's kind of been coming all night. You got to watch those receivers on the edge and some of those offensive linemen, especially when Pennington rolls out. A lot of times that left tackle, he's going to try to slip down and block early, and that's finally what they got called for right there, ineligible man downfield.
So that'll cost Sand Springs big yardage on that play, as that one had gone down to around the 35-yard line, but it'll all come back, and the penalty will move the ball back to the 30. So it'll be 1st and 20 for Sand Springs at their own 30-yard line. Now they moved it back up, just a 5-yard penalty. So 1st and 15 for the Sand Springs Sandites. 9:20 to play in the game with the Sandites leading 31-14. Ty Pennington, the quarterback, fakes the handoff, goes back to pass, looks, throws out to the side, it's complete, and dragged down just short of the first down around the 48. Good defensive play by the Roughers. Jaden Bell out there. Pass was complete to Campbell, I believe that was out there. He gets from the 35 up to the 48-yard line, 13 yards on the play. Now it's 2nd down and short for the Sandites. They need to get it to midfield for the 1st down. Pennington takes it, hands it to Jones, or fakes it to Jones, keeps it himself at the 50, 45, 40, and he is down inside the 40-yard line at the 38. That'll be about a 14-yard gain by Pennington. Seneca Collins making the hit, a little bit slow getting up after that. 1st down for Sand Springs as they try to move it in here and get what you would think would be the nail in the coffin here if they can put this one in. 1st and 10 at the Rougher 38. Pennington takes it, hands the ball to Jones, comes to his left at the 35, has a man wrap him up by the ankles there, won't let go. And that's T.K. Thompson making the tackle over there, right at the 32, 6 yards gained. Clock keeps running now, 8 minutes to play in the game.
You know, you just watch body language. Muskogee defense has been on the field, seems like almost the second half. And, you know, where they were thriving and pushing those guys back on the defensive line, you could just kind of feel that the Sandites offensive line is starting to get a little mojo, and they're coming downhill.
There's a long pass by Pennington. That's going to be too far. Good defensive play by the Roughers out there step for step. I'm guessing that's Jaden Bell probably out there. Did a good job just to get there step for step and knock the ball away incomplete, and it'll be 3rd down and 4 for Sand Springs.
Jaden Bell, Coach Watkins has talked about it. He had him on at the coach's show a couple of weeks ago. It's not very often you see a sophomore get pulled in, and he said, you know, hey, he's one of our best leaders. And that's one of those things I love about that kid. He's 5'7", he's on a corner, and you think a lot of times they're going to look at him and go, hey, we're throwing at that kid. But that kid's tough as nails, and he's right in position 9 times out of 10.
That may have been Aiden Kemp, actually, as we looked at it. He's getting the start at corner. Pennington hands the ball off to Cisco, trying that jet sweep right. Gets around the corner at the 30, gets down to the 26, and he'll have the 1st down. They've run that. They haven't gotten a lot of big yards out of it, but they seem to have timed it pretty well to use that play when they need it to pick up 4 or 5, and that's what they get there from the 32 down to the 26. 1st and 10 for the Sandites.
You know, they at Sand Springs, they run that play, run that play, and then they slip that tight end down the middle, down the seam.
From the 26, Pennington ready as he calls the signals. Getting the ball down the field and running the clock. Here's a pass complete. Out to Shoemaker at the 20, at the 15, at the 10, 5, touchdown. And got it down, got it on the wing out there, and there was no Roughers.
But you know, that's kind of the modern game, and it's going to be hard to defend, especially if they let that other wide receiver maybe start blocking before the receiver catches the ball. But oh well, it's pass and catch, 26 yards, TD catch.
So that may be it for the Roughers. It'll be a hard comeback now. Hennon with the extra point try. It's up, and it is good. 7:21 to play in the game. It's now Sand Springs 38, the Roughers 14. Back with the Sandite kickoff in 60 seconds on Rougher TV.
There's an old school way of doing business here at James Hodge Ford. Exceptional service, a firm handshake, and the best price around on a new Ford vehicle. Of course, don't forget our Hodge promise to you, our customer, that's stronger than oak. That's just a great way of doing business.
The James Hodge Ford Promise. The best selection, the absolute best price, and service guaranteed. James Hodge Ford, 1200 North Main, Muskogee. Online at hodgeford.com.
In sports, having the right winning strategy is often the difference between winning and losing. The same is true when you need legal representation. For more than 15 years, the law offices of Michael E. Finnerty have successfully provided the winning strategy with excellence and integrity for the people of the Muskogee area in matters of personal injury, Social Security disability, and workers' compensation issues. The law office, Muskogee trusts Michael A. Finnerty, ready to develop a winning strategy. Michael A. Finnerty, 436 Court Street in Muskogee. Call 687-1155. Online at finnertylaw.com.
So back here at Memorial Stadium, Sandites leading 38-14 after they take it 60 yards in 6 plays on the drive. Here's the kickoff. Bell will take it at the 4. Moves his way up the field to the 10, 15, 20. The 25 kind of stumbles and finally goes down at around the 27, 28-yard line. Jaden Bell with the return will set Muskogee up 1st and 10. They'll spot it at the 28. Rougher offense needs a big play here if they can find one in their game bag. 1st and 10 for Muskogee at the 28. 7:15 to play in the game. Next Friday night, back home for what seems like forever since we've been there. Murphy will be home next Friday night and then the following Monday. So Friday night against Bartlesville, and then a couple of days later, Putnam City West in their makeup game. 1st and 10. Walker Newton takes it, hands the ball off across the 30, 35, and 40 to 45-yard line. Let's see who that is. That is Taryn Miles, it says here. Across the 45 to the 46-yard line. Or it is, maybe that is. And then a penalty on top of that against Sand Springs. That's Batiste, I think that's who that was. So he takes it up to the 46 for 18 yards, and then another 15 added on to that for a penalty against the Sandites. And Muskogee's got the ball 1st and 10 at the Sand Springs 39. Walker Newton ready, takes it, hands off. No, that's not, that is Taryn Miles. So Miles carries down to the 35-yard line. 4-yard gain. 2nd down and 6 for the Roughers. Taryn Miles, a 5'8" sophomore, 140-pounder. Roughers trying to get something done, get some more points on the board. Clock moving down toward the 6-minute mark left to play in the game. 2 wide receivers left, 1 right for the Roughers. Newton takes it, throws towards Zapata, and he makes a diving catch. Good inside the 30 to the 27. And that'll be enough for the 1st down for the Roughers. Nice catch by Zapata. 1st down, Jay Hodge, Chevy Cadillac. Muskogee Rougher 1st down at the 27. 12-yard gain, or an 8-yard gain on the play. Rougher still on the move. 38-14, Sandites leading. Walker Newton's gone all the way at quarterback tonight. And they hand off. Ooh, wow. Roughers paid the price there as they hand it off to Miles, and he's decked.
I actually think that's Walker Eaton that's in at quarterback for your Roughers now.
He is right. You're right. So they drop him at the 30, a 3-yard loss. And Walker Eaton now taking over the quarterbacking spot for the Roughers. Walker Eaton is a junior, 5'11", 160.
They've got Eaton and Batiste in the backfield.
He's carried 7 times, had a lot of sacks in that Bentonville game, as I remember. So he's not in the negative as far as yardage. And we have a whistle just as the play gets underway. I think the Roughers move. Now delay a game. They took too much time, so that'll move the ball back to the 35. Makes it now 2nd down and 18 for the Roughers. Back at their 35 of the Sandites. Walker Eaton ready. He goes back. He gets away from one man. Here comes another, and he's going to be decked back across midfield. Walker Eaton trying to get away, got away from one man, but then ended up running backwards, and he ends up losing back to the 48-yard line of the Roughers.
Minus 23.
20. Yeah, back to actually the 43-yard line. 22 yards on the loss by Walker Newton. That makes it 3rd down and an acre for the Roughers. Need to get the ball down to the Sand Springs 28 for the 1st down. They got it right now at their own 43. Eaton takes it, hands the ball off. Taryn Miles gets a couple of yards, gets it across the 45, maybe to the 46. 3 yards on the carry, and that'll bring up a punting situation for the Roughers from the 46, so it'll be 4th down and a bunch. Need to get it down to the 18 for the 1st down. So Zapata will go back to punt with 3.5 to play in the football game. And we have timeout called by the Roughers. We'll take a break with them. 3:27 to play in the game. Sand Springs leads at 38-14. We'll be back in 30 seconds on Rougher TV.
Pain is temporary, pride is forever. At Excel Therapy, we want to be your athlete's advocate for excellence. We offer treatment methods that focus on strengthening muscles and improving flexibility to improve your overall performance. And when injury sets in, Excel Therapy can aid in the recovery process. We know it's important to get back in the game, so trust the comeback experts, Excel Physical Therapy and Sports Medicine. With 16 locations and no physician referral required, you can begin healing today. From setback to comeback, the name you can trust, Excel Physical Therapy and Sports Medicine. Look for us online at exceltherapyok.com.
So the Roughers now, following the timeout, 4th down and a bunch to go. Have the ball at their own 45 and need to move it down to the Sand Springs 17 for a 1st down. Almost 40 yards to go for 1st down here, and Zapata back to punts. High snap. Zapata gets a kick away, line drive, fielded at the 28 by Sand Springs to the 30, 35, and down and around the 36-yard line. As the Roughers on special teams, Ronald Warren making the tackle for Muskogee, and the Sandites will get the ball at their own 37. With 3:16 to play in the game. Don't forget, at the end of the game, we'll have our Buffalo Wild Wings players of the game for the Roughers this evening. Next Friday night, home against Bartlesville. 7 o'clock kickoff at Indian Bowl.
That'll be senior night. And for those fans in attendance that are planning on coming to the game, I'd like to remind you our policy is that our tickets are going to have to be purchased online. You can do that up to a week in advance, which means you can go on right now and pick those tickets up at MuskogeeAthletics.com/H-tickets. As just part of our COVID protocols, we are asking that everyone make sure that they wear a mask. You've got to have a mask on to get into the stadium next week, and we are asking that all tickets are purchased ahead of time online.
Pennington goes for 22 yards on the carry down to the Rougher 41, 1st and 10 for the Sandites. Hands it to Jones. He breaks the tackle, almost gets away from a second, but falls forward down to the 37, where he'll get 4 yards on the carry. 2nd and 6. Clock continues to run down now. 2.5 minutes to play in the game. 38-14. Sandites lead this one. Roughers tied the game early on, but then Sand Springs scored 10 relatively quick points and have led ever since. Pennington takes the handoff, gives it to Jones. Jones bulls his way inside the 35, barely. We'll call it the 35 for a 2-yard gain. And now the Sandites is just content to run the ball and run the play clock. 2 minutes to play. They'll face 3rd down and 4 at the ball just inside the Muskogee 35-yard line.
You know, that's one of those things tonight's one of those things that I can almost guarantee, you know, the score. I know it's going to say 38-14 on the scoreboard, but I guarantee when the coaches are there and they're going to be there bright and early tomorrow morning going over this game film, there's going to be a lot of bright spots, a lot of things that they're going to look and go, okay, we got better. And with the young team, that's what we're going to continue to do. That's what Coach Watkins talked about. He said, we're just going to try to get better week to week, and hopefully we'll be there at the end.
Blake Jones, though, puts the icing on the cake as Jones takes the handoff and scampers 35 yards for a touchdown with 1:22 to play. And that completes a 63-yard drive in 4 plays for the Sandites.
And for the Sandites, Jones has been kind of the bright spot of the evening for them. You know, everybody touted, and rightfully so, the athletic ability of Pennington. You know, he was looking at almost 70% completion rate, you know, with a couple of TDs. But Jones has kind of been their horse tonight. He's had 14 carries for 115 yards. You know, and that's he demonstrates and embodies kind of that character and that athlete, the type of athlete that the Sandites will put out year in, year out.
Extra point is good to make it 45-14 with 1:22 left to play in the game. Let's take a quick 30-second break, and we'll be back with the Sand Springs Kickoff. You're watching Rougher TV.
Pain is temporary, pride is forever. At Excel Therapy, we want to be your athlete's advocate for excellence. We offer treatment methods that focus on strengthening muscles and improving flexibility to improve your overall performance. And when injury sets in, Excel Therapy can aid in the recovery process. We know it's important to get back in the game, so trust the comeback experts, Excel Physical Therapy and Sports Medicine. With 16 locations and no physician referral required, you can begin healing today. From setback to comeback, the name you can trust, Excel Physical Therapy and Sports Medicine. Look for us online at exceltherapyok.com.
Greg Reeves to kick off this time for the Sandites. Bell goes back. This guy has a much better leg than Hennon, and he kicks it into the end zone, and the Roughnecks will start at their own 20 on the touchback. 1st and 10 for Muskogee. 1:22 left to play in the game. Don't forget, after the contest, we'll have a recap and name our Buffalo Wild Wing player of the game. Roughers looking to see what they can do here with their last possession.
You know, my dad hasn't been able to be there this evening. I know he's with my grandmother in Oklahoma City, but he's definitely listening and watching, and he's already cast his vote for player of the game. I got that.
Has he?
I've got that notice, and
okay.
I've gotten my criticism, Pops. I got you, and I'll work on it. I'll be there bright and early to take my notes and learn from my performance this evening as well, and hope if I get a chance to do it again. Nick, I've enjoyed it, and I appreciate all you guys and your tutelage and allowing me to be able to do this. It's a pleasure to come in and get to speak about Muskogee athletics. I mean, being a coach, I get to see these kids day in, day out. I get to see them in the summer. And, regardless of the scoreboard, it makes me proud because I know what these kids put in. I know what they sacrifice, and I know what kind of kids these kids are. I mean, they're just – I take almost any one of them home with me.
Taryn Miles got 7 on his first carry, but on his second, not so much. He'll be stopped right at the let's give him a yard to the 28. So it'll be 3rd down and 2 as we're inside 30 seconds to play in the game. And let's see if the Roughers they don't have to run another play if they don't want to. And it doesn't look like they will. Looks like they will just let the clock run out. And the Roughers will fall to 0-4 on the season and 0-1 in district play tonight. So that's it. Final score tonight, Sand Springs 45 and the Muskogee Roughers 14. We'll be back to wrap things up, take a look at stats, some scores for you, and name our Buffalo Wild Wing player of the game after this 2-minute timeout here on Rougher TV.
There has never been a better time to buy than now. Drive a little, save a lot at Nissan of Muskogee Ultimate Used Car Sales Event. Save thousands now on all in-stock models. Come see us today at Nissan of Muskogee. Online at nissanofmuskogee.com. nissanofmuskogee.com. That's right, nissanofmuskogee.com. Use your cell phone, tablet, computer, we don't care. Just shop our huge selection of new and used online and then just pick, click, and drive. Why wait? It's that easy. Log on today at nissanofmuskogee.com.
JTK Imaging Services of Muskogee brings mobile digital imaging to you anytime, anywhere. JTK Imaging Services offers parents-to-be excitement and comfort of 3D and 4D ultrasound with ultrasound as low as $100. Services at JTK Imaging Services also include mobile digital ultrasound and x-ray anytime you need them. Discover the difference online at jtkimagingservices.com. JTK Imaging Services of Muskogee at 1631 North Main.
Tradition. It's a word that means a lot. Just as the tradition of the Muskogee Roughers requires commitment of great players and coaches, Lesher Millsap Funeral Home takes pride in providing great value and commitment every day with a tradition of service to the families of the Muskogee area. Just like in football, tradition must be earned on every play, every day, not just in the final score. And that's why you can trust Lesher Millsap Funeral Home to be there for you when it counts the most. Lesher Millsap Funeral Home, proud to be part of the Muskogee tradition of excellence.
I'm Gil McLaughlin.
I'm Brian Kirkhart.
Thanks, Muskogee. Your hometown mortgage team, Muskogee Mortgage, the McLaughlin team, is proud to be Muskogee's preferred mortgage company.
We are extremely honored to serve you. Just like the Roughers have a game plan for victory, our daily game plan is to assist families to reach their financial goals.
Thanks, Muskogee, and good luck, Roughers, on your drive to win in 2020.
Your new home isn't so far away with the help of Muskogee Mortgage, 3241 Chandler Road, Muskogee, and online at muskogeemortgage.com.
Back with you at Memorial Stadium in Sand Springs, where the Muskogee Roughers lose this evening to the Sandites of Sand Springs by a score of 45-14. After tying the game in the first half, the Roughers fell behind by 10, 17-7 in the second quarter, but really came back strong in the latter stages of that second quarter. Scored late in the contest, or in the half, on a 66-yard, 12-play drive, as Isaiah Gibbons scored from 1 yard out to close it to 17-14, which was our score at halftime. But the third quarter started kind of ominously for the Roughers as Sand Springs made a little pooch kick, and the Roughers just let it bounce. And it was a free ball. Sand Springs recovered it at the Rougher 30, and they took it in 10 plays with Pennington scoring from a yard out to make it 24-14. The Roughers ran 4 plays, had to punt the ball away. Sand Springs got it again, and this time it was a 79-yard, 3-play drive. Pennington to Campbell on a 60-yard touchdown pass to make it 31-14. Both teams turned it over on fumbles subsequently later on, and Sand Springs got another touchdown. Pennington to Shoemaker for 26 yards to make it 38-14. And then the icing on the cake, Jones with a 35-yard touchdown run for Sand Springs with a minute 22 left to play to make it 45-14, our final score tonight, as the Roughers blanked in the second half, unable to come up with any points. The Rougher offense just unable to break things, and you got to give Bobby Klink and his crew some credit too. I'm sure they made some defensive changes in that second half, and Roughers just unable to get anything going in that third and fourth quarter. And the Sandites just proved too much offensively for Muskogee as they win it tonight by a score of 45-14. That ups their record now to 4-1 on the season and 2-0 in district play, and they'll get the 15 points that go with the win tonight on their column. You got that done? Close? I got you. All right, so here's Brad with some statistics for us.
Sand Springs on the offense this evening, they ran 59 plays for 16 first downs. Of course, unofficially, they had 193 yards. We talked about their force would be their their big running back Jones, who had 14 carries for 115 yards and a TD. And then through the air and on the ground, the guy that he's been touted as their leader, Mr. Pennington, who had through the air was 18 of 28, although it felt like that completion rate was a whole lot higher than that for 231 yards for 2 TDs. On the ground, Pennington he had 9 carries, but 52 yards and 2 TDs there. Shoemake being the leading receiver for the Sandites with 7 receptions for 102 yards and a TD. For the Roughers, the Rougher offense, this was probably, I know it doesn't equate that on the scoreboard with the 14 points, but, take away the 2 fumbles. This is probably their best overall offensive output of the season. They ran 64 plays, 14 first downs. On the ground, they had 166 yards, led by with 137 of that coming from their running back Isaiah Givens. Through the air, Walker Newton, he was, 15 attempts for 133 yards, so that was by far his best contest through the air. And then you had Walker Eaton, that was 1 of 1 for 8 yards. And leading the way for your Roughers receiving, Antonio Zapata, as he has all season, 6 receptions for 127 yards. Raheem Payne had a catch for 14 yards. Jaden Bell had one, the big one for 43 in the first half. TK Thompson had a reception for 4 yards, and Givens, he did have a catch for a yard. The Roughers were able to come up with, like I said, 14 first downs. The penalties, Roughers played pretty clean penalty-wise tonight. They had four penalties for only 30 yards. They had 5 third down conversions, but, it just kind of the tide kind of turned with the 2 fumbles. That was kind of and then the second half, the Coach Klink made a few defensive adjustments. You could see they kept the linebackers in the pocket, kind of gave the same mindset that Roughers had kind of coming in with Pennington. They wanted to keep that running game of Walker Newton, keeping him from being able to pull it and throw it. That adjustment forced him, and then we had a turnover, and then the ball kind of started rolling, and the Rougher defense was on the field almost. It felt like almost the entire second half. And, those guys play hard. Like I said, they give it all they've got, and they just wore down. But overall, you look at the film, coaches are going to have to be pleased. There was a lot to glean as a success, and you could see improvement. And it'll be exciting, next Friday night, senior night. It's finally senior night here back at the Indian Bowl, and I know that, those boys, they deserve a big crowd. We need a big student section and a big ticket space is limited. Seating capacity is limited to approximately 25%. So if you're planning on going to the game, I know I said it earlier quickly while the game was going on, but you've got to go online, and you've got to go to MuskogeeAthletics.com/HTickets and purchase your tickets. From what I heard, the last thing I heard was we weren't selling tickets at the gate, so you need to go online and purchase those tickets in advance. We do remind you that all patrons, students, kids, anyone coming into the contest will be required to have a mask to enter the facility, and we do ask that you wear your mask, you practice social distancing at the Indian Bowl. Just to, just with all that's going on, we're doing everything we can. I know sometimes people get frustrated, but we're doing everything we can. Our AD, Jason Parker, and Coach Platter, or our assistant AD, Mr. Platter, those guys do an amazing job of, just doing everything we can to allow our kids to be able to play football and allow our athletes to be able to practice and do these things because, anytime we get a game, we saw that last week, anytime we can play, anytime we can practice the way that this year has kind of been, it's a blessing. And I can't thank those guys enough, and I know the other coaches feel the same way. But, hey, Rougher Nation, Rougher fans, we need we need to sell out our 25% next week. It's senior night. These kids have come out. They put their blood, sweat, and tears into 4 years of football for you guys, and it's not just senior night for the football players. We're going to have senior night for cheer, and even our little live stream crew that's behind me. We always say that we've got one of the best student-led live stream. Shane and his kiddos, and he's got a big senior class. It's been a blessing to watch these kids grow up too, and they do an amazing job. So we're going to recognize them next week. Band, cheer, all of our athletes and all of our kids. They pour so much into, and they do such a great job of recognizing and setting the setting the example and putting Muskogee schools out there. And so we ask that the Muskogee community come out, support these people, make some noise, but you got to purchase your tickets early, and you got to get them online because we're only selling 25%, and once those tickets are sold, there's no entry. But so wear your mask, get those tickets online, and we'll see you Friday at Indian Bowl.
Okay, we got to do one other thing. We got to pick our Buffalo Wild Wing player of the game. You think about the offense, we thought they improved some. Isaiah Givens had a good night rushing, but a couple of costly fumbles, I think, kind of hurts him in that area.
Newton played well.
And Walker Newton, I think you mentioned a couple of times, seemed to be a lot more comfortable tonight as far as being in the pocket and running the offense. I thought he had a good game. Defensively, I guess you'd be hard to say, look at the defense and say, how can you give it to anybody on the defense? But there was one guy we mentioned a lot and had a great game. The guy who was our pregame guest tonight, Devin Whitfield, had a good game, made several key tackles from that defensive end spot, came back across the field, I remember 2 or 3 times, to make tackles from behind. And I think all concerned say that he's our guy tonight.
That's our vote. I mean, he's one of those guys that, like we talk about, I mean, we have so many of them, but he's one of those. He's going to come in, he's going to bring his lunch pail, he's going to listen to the coaches, he's going to take his coaching. He did Coach Hill talked about it pregame. These guys got to set the edge, they got to chase hard, and those boys did that. So I'm all in.
We got to pick an offensive and defensive player. I think offensively, I think I'm going to go with Walker Newton tonight. He had, like I said, a little more comfortable. Didn't have huge statistics, but he ran the offense a little more comfortably. He was the victim of some fumbles that really hurt the Ruffers.
He didn't throw any interceptions.
Didn't throw any interceptions.
And I hate to say that, with the game next week, but knock on wood, but he managed the game. He did exactly what Coach Watkins and Coach Graham talked about pregame. He's got to be able to throw the ball just enough to get those linebackers, and he did that in the first half. We had success. We kind of got behind the chains in the second half and kind of forced him. But I'm all in. I like what Newton did tonight, and I'm kind of excited to see what he's going to do next week.
So Walker Newton and Devin Whitfield are players of the game tonight for Buffalo Wild Wings. That'll do it for us this evening. Don't forget the Coaches Show on Okie Country 101.7 Tuesday night from Runt's Barbecue at 6:30. And then next Friday night, we will be at Indian Bowl for action. Senior night, 7 o'clock kickoff time, 6:30 for our pregame as the Ruffers take on the Bartlesville Bruins. Thanks for being with us. 45-14 our final score tonight, Sand Springs over the Ruffers. And as the boss always says, win or lose, it's always a great day to be a Ruffer. For Bill Huddleston, I'm Nick Hampton and Brad Huddleston here this evening saying thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time.